is the greatest thing. I mean, if it blows up, 00 becomes one of our greatest episodes. I mean, shit, we'll just call every episode 00.
Yeah.
We'll be the 00 podcast from here on out.
I'm not even gonna set up the camera. I'm just gonna fucking shoot audio this time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on like iTunes and shit. People are like, I think it's Lars. What is it, Lars and or is it Larson? The two podcast guys that started capitalizing more
I know
on
what you're
iTunes
talking
and stuff
about.
instead of YouTube.
Larson's one of them, but
Yeah.
I can never remember the names of the two guys. But like, they're one of the biggest like wrestling podcasters out there.
Yeah, I think they're like what, fifth, or maybe they've moved down a little bit further than that now. But they're up there with who's one of the biggest.
Like What Culture and
What Culture Wrestling is one of the bigger ones.
like Wrestle Talk News.
Oh, dude, Wrestle Talk News is huge.
Like there's quite a few of them. There's another guy. I can't remember his name, but he started out just like talking to his camera in like his room or whatever. But he has like glasses. I think he's like, he might be in his 30s.
Okay.
I don't know, but I can't remember what his shit's called.
I might have seen him, and I don't even remember.
I can't. I don't know. For some reason, I don't think I'm subscribed to him anymore, but I was subscribed to him for a while. Maybe it was on my other account, but I've been using the Matt Archer account.
Yeah, YouTube does some weird stuff. Like when you're subscribed to somebody and you haven't watched them in a little bit, they unsubscribe you, or
Really?
you just kind of because it's been happening lately. People have been losing their subscribers in like a purge, and it just kind of unsubscribes you, and you don't even realize it because you haven't watched them in so long.
I know they purge a lot of users that set up accounts and then just like they haven't been on in like years.
Yeah, they take a lot of those out. But like I've been unsubscribed from somebody before that I've never unsubscribed, and I'm just watching and I'm like, oh, I don't remember watching this guy like from a long time ago. And I go back on there and I'm like, why was I ever unsubscribed from this?
Yeah, well, that's probably not a big issue for us because I mean, Matt Archer's only been up for like 2 years now, so
Yeah,
anybody that's subscribed to us is subscribed to us within the last 2 years, so they've at least been active within the last 2 years,
which is nice.
Maybe less.
Which I think we're up to what 101 now.
No, I just noticed today we're at 104.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
This is actually my return, my big return, coming out of the closet.
Let's go ahead and say this is episode 00 of whatever the fuck our podcast is called. It seems like every podcast I ever do doesn't have a name until later.
Yeah, which is good because
I don't think we even thought about names. Nobody's even brought them up, but that's what this is the first episode of Jesse and Mark's podcast of some sort. I don't know why I always team up with people with J names.
Yeah, it's interesting because you got Jay, you got Jeff,
and now I got Jesse.
You got Jesse, and you got Justin's brother that comes over every once in a while with you.
Oh, Jeff. Yeah.
Another Jeff.
You're right. Yeah. Jeff
so yeah, everybody's in. It's been a J.
The only person that wasn't was Brett, and that was kind of short lived.
Yeah,
it
was very short lived.
That guy fell off the fucking map. So
he did. I haven't ever since he stopped using Facebook. I don't even know.
Or no, I mean he was at Mary Ann's,
but then he was gone.
But then he
was just disappeared. Like for you, he disappeared longer, but for me, he just after that he was just gone.
No, I mean he wasn't. I mean I saw him, like he quit a day I was off. So
okay.
I guess from the story I was told, is he called Pat after work one day and said that he had quit or whatever, and then his uniforms were on the tables the following day, and I heard that Brett quit or whatever. I might have been there that day. I don't remember, but
I don't remember.
All
either.
I know is that it
was
was very abrupt, and I didn't even. Nobody knew.
No, the same with another guy.
We never had that last moment with Brett. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, we did. We just were completely unaware of it, so we didn't take advantage of it. You know,
we should pour out some Colt 45 for our dead homie. I'm actually pouring out a bottle of Colt 45 right now.
Brett's not dead.
He's not. Well, he's not dead, but he's like
he's dead to me.
He's dead. He's dead air.
He's not dead. I love Brett to death. That's why I'm sad that I never see him anymore.
But it's weird because like when people don't have a social media and then they quit work, like there's no unless they call me, there's no contact from there. So like they're just gone from the face of the planet from there on out.
I mean, I might still have his number. But I don't know if that's still his number. Or
I don't know.
I guess I didn't think about it. I guess if I was really that concerned, I would have got to hit him up or tried to. But yeah, you're right. He's not on Facebook or anything like that. So
I know the only really social media he uses is Reddit, and Reddit's not like you can go on there and be like, oh look, it's a friends list and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like, you can't just create.
I could probably comment on something.
Yeah,
like, Brett, it's me.
Just like reaching out to him. Like,
I've been looking everywhere for you, man.
Coming up from the grave.
But no. If you're listening to this, Brett, I miss you, buddy. Hit me up.
Yeah, buddy. Me too. I don't even know if he's got my number, though. Because, like, we talked, like, there was a couple interactions with me and him because I used to drive him home when he didn't have a car.
Yeah.
And we would just sit in the car and talk bullshit for, like, an hour. Like, before, like, it would just be one of those moments where it's like, all right, bro, I'm going. And then we would just start talking. And then an hour or two would go by. And it's like, we've been fucking sitting in the car this whole time.
Yeah, just, like, kind of, we'd always just, like, stand in the
Yeah, because
parking
Brett was,
lot
like,
or
my
outside.
doppelganger. Like, he was, like, my shorter, like, he was like
He was
a
a little
being of
you.
me. He was little me.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a doppelganger in 8th grade. It was weird. He was literally, he had the same name, the same haircut that I, that like round head haircut that I used to have.
That's
He
weird.
looked, but he was like 3 feet tall, and he was a freshman in like high school or something
Shit.
when I was a senior. It was weird, dude. It was interesting.
That's really interesting because usually doppelgangers are like on the other
I guess
side
it was
of
like
the world.
it was
or you
almost
just
like a
run
clone.
into them in like
Yeah.
the most random place, like someplace you're not from, where you're like a stranger.
Yeah, like you go to Australia or something, and then all of a sudden your doppelganger's there, and it's like, "Hello, mate," and you're like, "You're
Hello,
me,
mate."
bro."
Like I've never saw my doppelganger, but I it's weird too. Like when I was younger, I used to take road trips from Ohio to California and back a lot because my
Okay.
dad lived in California. So I would stop at a lot of like weird places and lots of gas stations and truck stops, and every now and then we'd stop at like old trading posts where like it's all like Indian jewelry and knives and shit, like out in the middle of the desert and shit, like out in the middle of Arizona. But anyway,
That's badass.
so I'd come across a lot of weird places, and I was in a gas station in the middle of the desert one time when I couldn't have been, I mean, fuck, I like older than like 10 or 11.
Okay,
But I went into a gas station and I saw a guy that he was older. He was probably like a teenager, maybe even in his early 20s or something. But he looked like I looked at him and I was in shock because I thought I like traveled forward in time or something.
like you
or
were
what.
split in half, and that was your parallel.
It wasn't.
being.
It wasn't even me.
Okay.
He was the doppelganger. He was the older version of a kid I went to school with in Ohio. Like I was in Arizona or something at a gas station going
Yeah.
to California, but he looked like this kid Chris that I went to school with in 10 years. Like a spitting fucking image, like down to his nose.
That's
everything.
crazy.
So much so that I was stopped in my tracks and just like looking at him. Like
You
it
were
was
almost about to say, "Hey, Chris,
and
like,
I
what's
told
up, bud?"
I told the kid later when school started back up, because usually I'd go to California for the summertime to visit my dad and shit.
Yeah.
But when I go back, I'd be like, dude, I saw somebody that looked exactly fucking like you in like 10 years, and he was like, he didn't even know what I meant. Like I had explained to him that, like, look, dude, this guy looked just like you, but if you were older.
Yeah.
Like if you were an adult.
Like
know
you
what I
came
mean?
back in time to talk to yourself, but 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, I've never experienced my own doppelganger, but I feel like I've seen other people that I'm just like, holy fucking shit, that's Chris in the future. Like, Chris from, like, I felt like I crossed over into, like, a weird world.
I don't know if it was really my doppelganger, but I have a crazy parallel universe at a stoplight one time.
You told me this story. Go ahead and tell it again for
Okay,
the people.
so I'm driving, and I pull up to a stoplight, and there's another car. I'm driving a van or a car, and it's the exact same car on the other side. So they go, and I'm like, that was weird. Those guys kind of looked like us, but they were like kind of like when you see somebody that looks like you, or you see somebody that's like a shadow face or something, you look over and you're like, oh, that was kind of weird, but you don't really, it doesn't register, but it's the exact same car as you. So
yeah.
10 minutes later or 20 minutes later, I'm at the other intersection where that car was, and I'm sitting at the other intersection getting ready to go, looking at myself like, and I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, is this deja vu? Is it like some kind of crazy, like, was I in a pair? Like, was that just our doppels? Like, were we just, because my dude was like, even like, bro, that's us 10 minutes ago, like, just sitting there. Was it just one of those, like, because he said that, my mind instantly registered it as that?
No, I remember you telling me this story when it, like, probably a little while after it happened.
Yeah.
Probably a couple weeks or something, and I just remember thinking, like, this motherfucker must have been high. And this car was just like very similar to his, or maybe the same exact car. And just like happened to have two people, and it just happened to be like.
But how did it come back to the other intersection 20 minutes later or whatever? Like, they were on the other side now.
No, there's some unexplainable aspects to this.
Yeah,
story.
like it was weird because it was like them, and then we're switched. But it's happened a few times, actually. Like, that's not the only time something weird like that's happened. Like, there was one time where I'm getting on the highway, and I end up getting, because there was a bunch of construction, I ended up getting on the highway the wrong way. I end up getting on the on-ramp. So as I'm getting on the on-ramp, there's a truck getting off the off-ramp. And he's coming head-on at me, like, doing 60, 70 miles an hour.
Jesus.
And I'm driving, and all of a sudden we turn around. Like, we had to do a U-E in this little on-ramp or off-ramp or whatever. So we get around, and I look at my rear view, and there was nowhere for him to turn off. We hadn't got off because it was literally construction, so it was a one-way thing. He couldn't go anywhere. He was gone.
Jeez.
Completely gone.
That's
it was
crazy.
almost like it was saving me from crashing on the highway because I went the wrong way.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah, dude. It was an insane moment. I got so many crazy moments, dude. Like, there was one where my girlfriend's like, why would... Because they're... You know skinwalkers? Like, I guess they say the last thing that the victim said. And, like, I heard my grandpa call my name one time. I was outside, and he was like, Jesse. And it came from around the corner. And I'm like, what? And so I walk up there, and there was nothing there.
What? I'm lost.
I'm going off a story. Like, I just said, like, four things at once.
Well,
but it was,
you just said, I just heard my grandpa. Like, is your grandpa dead?
He was dead at this point. Like,
okay.
He was dead after this point.
When was it? Like, you just kind of started in the middle of the story.
Okay. It was when I was younger. I was a kid. I was just saying because I got a bunch of stories like this. I was a kid.
Yeah.
And this is a story that my girlfriend's like, why the fuck would he call out your name? And the reason she said that is because, like, I watched this YouTube videos about skinwalkers and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And they said skinwalkers say the last thing, or supposedly say the last thing that their victim says or whatever. And, like, he calls my name from around the corner, and he's dead at this point. And so, like, I hear it distinctively, and I walk over there, and there was nothing there around the corner. And, like, as a kid, I don't remember the rest of it. Like, I don't remember if I went back and played, or if I was just, like, if this became a repressed memory, and now it's, like, starting to recirculate, if, like, something happened at that point.
Yeah.
But to me, nothing happened. Like, it was just one of those off to the back thing. And then later on in life, I'm reading these stories, and, like, I'm hearing these stories of skinwalkers and shit, and it makes me think, like, could I have been a victim? Like, could I have gotten snatched as a kid? Like, at some point, like, if I would have kept walking, following that voice, like, could I have gotten eaten in the woods or some shit, like something crazy?
Or maybe you did, and, like, you time just kind of stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you were gone for a moment,
almost like getting abducted.
You were gone for a long time, but in the time on Earth and shit, it was only like a mere few seconds.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like, I got
if any
abducted
time
or
at all.
something.
Yeah, travel to another dimension.
Like, how crazy is that?
Cry.
And she's like, why would he call out your name? That's why she said, why would he call out your name? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, why wouldn't he? Like, he's my grandpa. Like, he might have been yelling. Like, for me, I was the only one home at that time.
I'm wondering just as much as fucking you are.
Right. Like, dude's getting eaten by a skinwalker. Like, first thing he's going to call is the person's name that's there.
Shit.
But yeah, my girlfriend told me this, because this goes off the whole crazy stories that we're telling too. And, like, she doesn't want to believe this, but one time she told me she was driving, and, like, when I hear other people tell me stories, I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like, you think about it as bullshit, but then it's like, she's got a little bit more credible story. And it's like, she's driving, and in my mind, I'm just like, you're tired or whatever. Because, like, for some reason, when I watch these stories, I'm not as skeptical as if I am when somebody's telling me them. Because I've seen so many of them, and I've heard so many of them, that when somebody tells me something, I'm like, oh, it was probably your figment of imagination, or you were tired, or you were on drugs.
No, I'm the first one to look for that. My brother Jared gets pissed off at me because I'm the first one to be like, try to think about it logically. Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to bust your balls.
No,
I'm just being critical of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just...
Dude, you're just
I'm
picking
not
the holes
one
out.
to jump to, like, oh, it's a fucking ghost. Or,
right.
oh, it's aliens.
Let's
like,
get the fuck out of here.
Chances, like, 99% of the time, there's a logical fucking explanation for this. You just gotta fucking find it.
Yep. Were you tired?
But
were
I'm not
you drinking
doubting
that night?
that sometimes it's unexplained.
Yep.
It's unexplainable, and it makes absolutely no sense, and something crazy must have happened here. Like,
yeah.
But
and what it was, and this goes off the whole, like, YouTube videos. Like, this goes corresponding with this whole story. But she's driving, and she sees, like, this dog human running. And I'm like, what? And she's told me this story, like, a long time ago. And this is what's crazy about it, because the whole point of this story is I just started watching these YouTube videos probably within the last year or so.
Yeah.
And these stories happened to me and were told to me years ago. So, like, she told me this dog head story a long time ago, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking crazy. Like, you must have been tired or something. And then I watched this story on YouTube called The Wendigo, where this dog human head is, like, running on the side of the road after people and shit. And that's what she told me. She was like, she looks out her window, she's in the back seat, and there's this thing just running next to the car as fast as the car is going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. But then when I listened to it originally, I'm like, that's crazy, but were you drunk? And now I listen to it now, and in the back of my mind, I got that, like, that could have been something.
The Wendigo's an interesting thing. I don't know if how much you know about it, but it's like an old Native American thing.
Yes.
Like, it's an old Native American tale. Like, I don't know if you ever read those Alvin Schwartz books.
No.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
I might have heard
More
them.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
That sounds very familiar. Did they make a movie or something off of it? Because Scary Stories in the
They're
Dark sounds very familiar.
Actually, somebody bought the movie rights to make a movie, so I'm psyched. And if they do it well, it could be really fucking good. Because, dude, the best part about that shit, the stories were cool and fun. It was more for kids.
Okay.
They were pretty clean, scary stories, but they were creepy. But the artwork was the best part. Like, the guy who did the artwork for it, like, I think it's Stephen Gamel or Gamel. I can't remember which one it was. Either Alvin Schwartz or Stephen Gamel. But those are the two guys that made the books. But one of them wrote, one of them did the art. But the art was so fucking creepy and awesome. Like, I actually have it. You see that black book says Scary Stories?
Yeah.
Treasury?
The one right there next to the Buffy one?
Grab that real quick and just look at the cover and just flip through it, dude. The art is fucking amazing. Some of the creepiest fucking, like imagine reading that as a kid or just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, dude, that's
creepy as
fuck.
This
looks familiar. It might be like this might be a lot of where they get creepypastas from. Because like a lot of
creepypasta's kind of like a modern day version of this stuff. They just
that's what I'm saying. Because a lot of the artwork
and it's more they can do whatever they want. They don't
like
have to keep
the
it
snow
clean.
tracks, like the person walking in the snow to the house, but not back into the barn and stuff like that.
And then there's like little songs in there that actually have sheet music with it, where you could, if you wanted to, and you knew how to play like the piano and stuff, you could play the piano and then sing the lyrics and stuff. And they're really fucking. There's like one about a girl serving fucking brain soup or head soup to her husband and shit. And
that's awesome. Yeah, I love this kind of stuff.
I've always wanted to get like tattoos of some of that artwork and stuff, and like
dude,
big
that'd be nasty.
Framed like pictures of it and shit.
Like something like this. Like you just got something like this on your chest. Like you're just across like the number 23 with the tattoos that he ended up having by the end of the movie.
Well, some of my favorite stories in there are probably mostly because of the art, because I could look at the art and just get everything I need from it while reading the story, and I can just picture it all. But like, there's one called The Big Toe. That's like a legendary story. Like everybody knows the Big Toe sort of deal. But like, there's one called something like The Thing or whatever, and it's not even like this creature. It's about this guy that goes into a house for the night or whatever. He's like an abandoned house to sleep in there, and he keeps hearing noises throughout the night, and eventually he sees this creature, and it's like a big headed fucking crazy giant flying creature. And the picture just sums up the story perfectly. Like this picture, I'm glad they put the picture with it, because I probably wouldn't have loved the story as much. Trying to find it.
Yeah, I love people telling scary stories and like watching crazy stories, and like some of the pictures they put up there some of them are kind of like they just put a candle burning or something up there, but some of them like really get into like some crazy images, and you just get into it more.
Yeah,
because it's just all audio with still shots. It's kind of like listening to a book but seeing like screenshots go by.
Yeah, for sure. It's or like watching a YouTube video where they're just showing you images, what they're talking about. Like, there it is. I always wanted to get that tattoo.
Oh, dude, that'd be sweet.
And like you see him, the guy running away from it, and that's part of the story. Like it taps on his shoulder, and it's just like, "Can I help you?" Or like it's a friendly thing. Like it's not trying to scare him and make him run away. It's trying to like talk to him and be friends with him and shit.
That's insane.
But like the guy's so scared he just fucking runs, and like it's just so good. Like this is my childhood right here, dude. Like this is what scared the shit out of me as a kid. And like I could check these out from like my elementary school library. That's how I heard about them.
Dude, that's insane.
Like Bookmobile and shit.
Yeah.
They'd come and I would check this shit out. Like and go home and read it and scare the shit out of myself. Like not piss all damn night because I don't want to get up at 3 a.m. to go take a piss because I'm scared like that thing's gonna tap on my shoulder and ask me if I need help or something. But
see, mine was more movies than anything. Like when I watched I watched more movies than I've read books, I would say, in my life. So like I've heard a bunch of stories. Like
I like to read, but
yeah, that's why I like people telling me stories like that. I absorb, like I'm almost a absorber of knowledge. Like I'm just like I like all this stuff. And that's why sometimes like some of my stuff will get mixed together. Like for the longest time, I thought Judge Dredd and the other movie that they were in were the same movie. It was Judge Dredd was the one where he was the cop. And it had
in the future,
and then there was the other one with Wesley Snipes. And I always thought they were the exact same movie, but only for one scene. Because when I would tell people,
the other one with Wesley Snipes, what was that?
That was the one.
Picture it
because that was the one with what's her name? Was it Sandra Bullock? Sandra Bullock was in it as the cop with them, and Taco Bell was like the big deal, and they unfroze him and
that
stuff.
All sounds really familiar, but I can't think of any fucking.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. I actually just recently watched that movie. Oh my god, I can't remember because it was Judge Dredd.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. I always thought Judge Dredd and Demolition Man were the same thing because I always in my mind pictured Wesley Snipes walking in and opening and restarting the robot and then it fighting Judge Dredd.
Well, I don't know if what Demolition Man is based on. I don't know if that was written as a movie or if it was like based on a book or a comic or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Judge Dredd, I believe, was a comic or a graphic novel.
Yeah, Judge Dredd was definitely a comic book.
So I don't know what movie came first. I don't know when Demolition Man came out, but I know Judge Dredd I saw in theaters, so it had to have been like mid to late 90s.
Yeah, I want to say they came out around the same time.
The one with Sylvester Stallone is the one I'm talking about.
They both had Sylvester Stallone.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about the Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah, the Judge Dredd one came out in the
Sylvester
90s
Stallone.
because I think it was like they have it on Netflix. So I think it was like 93 or 95.
That was
around
Judge
that
Dredd?
area. Judge Dredd.
Wow, was that soon?
Yeah.
So when was Demolition Man?
Demolition Man.
That had to have been before Judge Dredd.
I want to say it would have been early 90s then.
Early 90s, late 80s. Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe like 89.
Well, because they were around the same time, and that's why they mixed so well in my head, because I would see like
that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, I would see a billboard.
Was one kind of the answer to another? From the two different studios. Kind of like HBO made Game of Thrones, and then Showtime or whatever made Camelot, and then Game of Thrones won.
Yeah, Game of Thrones obviously
Like,
won. People are still watching Game of Thrones.
And then like every time one studio puts out a Western, it seems like there's another Western from this studio too.
Yeah, that just happened. It's
phases. Like,
what was it? Django Unchained, and then The Hateful Eight, and then there was another one that all came out
Django
around
Unchained and Hateful Eight. That was like 4 or 5 years because those were both Tarantino.
Oh, they were both Tarantino.
Saying is
okay, because I know there was one that came out around the exact same time because it was Sinister Six or something like that. It was
Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent Seven.
So
yeah,
like there was a weird it happened recently. There was like a weird surge of Western movies once Hateful Eight came out.
Yeah,
and then they made that comedy one for Netflix with fucking
Adam Sandler.
Which was like it was
I can't remember what that one's called.
The Ridiculous Six.
Or
something like that.
I still never. That's the only Adam Sandler movie on Netflix I haven't watched. And I like westerns.
That was it was silly and stupid, but it was supposed to be. It was funny. It was a good way to get like a bunch of people together that used to act together and shit. Like I liked it. I laughed my ass off at it actually.
Yeah, he still makes decent movies.
He's getting better. Like his movies he's doing now are getting better. They're not great. They're
nothing like the original movies he used to make, like a Happy Gilmore or I think once he started making it to where, because his original movies were just a regular guy that you could relate with.
Yeah.
And then he started becoming that rich asshole.
Well, kind of. Like in the beginning, he was doing like his Saturday Night Live type deal.
Yes,
like
he was
Happy
doing more
Gilmore, Billy Madison. Like he was being more like he was on Saturday Night Live, and then he started doing like more serious. Like Big Daddy was like that last one that was really fucking good. And then he started doing like weirder. He tried to be more serious.
Funny People came out after Big Daddy. Either that or
I liked Funny People. Funny People was like 2000 and something though.
Because it was Funny People and
Big
what
Daddy
was the other
like
one
98,
that was similar to that?
Funny People.
And not Eternal Sunshine, but the movie that he came out with like Eternal Sunshine. Because Eternal Sunshine was
Punch
Jim Carrey.
Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk Love. I like both of them.
I didn't even see that, but that was like an indie movie where he was like real serious. It was kind of funny, but it was like a dark.
Because he's made 3 serious
comedy.
movies where he's made that movie about the saxophone player at 9/11 or something like that. I can't remember what that one was called. That one was really good.
It was called Rain on Me, I think. It had Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
He was like, he lost like his whole family, so he kind of like regressed back to who he was before that. where like he grew his hair out long. He was kind of like an emo kid.
Yeah.
He listened to a lot of music. He basically turned into like the singer of The Cure, kind of. He was real quiet and always wearing cigars. He just turned into like an emo guy.
Yeah, he did.
Like he
really
regressed
did.
back to like his teenage years.
And then he found him, and they became friends. And then it was like he became obsessed with him more, like because it was like
I really wanted to see that movie because Pearl Jam did the theme song for it. Because the song was called Rain on Me, but the theme for it was a Who song called Rain Over Me. And Pearl Jam did that song, and they used it in the trailer. So, and that was like when Adam Sandler was still kind of,
still kind of on that thing.
But that movie always stuck. The whole reason I saw that movie, though, was because of the Pearl Jam song.
Okay, yeah, I liked it a lot.
But
I thought it was a really good movie.
I liked the movie, too. It was real sad.
Yes,
like a very serious movie. But
it was probably one of his best serious movies, I would say.
But, I mean, what I'm saying now is he's going back to that kind of style. Like Little Nicky was awesome because he played like a character.
Yeah.
Like in Ridiculous 6, he played a character kind of, but he was kind of the cool guy hero. But he was playing it like he knew he was supposed to be playing. Like that's what made it funny. Like all these people were playing these caricature versions of these old Western people. It's like they were making fun of Magnificent Seven before Magnificent Seven even came out.
Yeah, because Ridiculous 6 came out first, didn't it?
Yeah, like a year. Probably.
That's what I thought. Because that was his first Netflix movie, and he's made probably 5 Netflix movies since that movie came out.
Yeah.
Because he made The Cobbler. He made...
Which was better than people gave him credit.
Oh, dude, Cobbler was great.
I liked that.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was fun. I thought it had that break between comedy and like seriousness.
Yeah.
And it evened itself out like a normal movie.
It reminded me of like a 90s movie. Like a more updated 90s movie.
Yes.
Like...
I almost feel like the only reason
magical. You know
I almost feel like the reason people didn't like it was because Adam Sandler stuck out. Like he stuck out in that role because it's Adam Sandler. You don't expect him to be that character.
It was like Big Daddy again. Like a Big Daddy with a magical aspect because he was just playing himself, but like it was still kind of a character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was, instead of being a guy who got his foot ran over and he's been living off that fucking insurance money and now he's just taking on a kid. In this one, he's a guy who's taking over the family business that's failing because nobody fucking uses a cobbler anymore.
No, I didn't even know what the cobbler was. Like I thought a cobbler, like I thought he was going to be like a baker. Like I was thinking like a pastry when I seen that movie.
He discovers this old machine that his dad put away a long time ago fucking is magical, and he can any shoe he fixes with that machine or whatever. If he puts those shoes on, he can become that person.
Dude, there's so many funny scenes from that. The fact that he could put those shoes on and become that person makes it like when it shows it the first time, it was hilarious.
But it's stupid as fuck. But I don't care. Movies are supposed to entertain you. Like,
and that's how I go into all those movies. Like when I go into a movie, even on like big budget movies, I don't go into like a Marvel movie expecting like
that's all dumb.
The
like,
greatest
all of
thing
it
ever.
It's never, none of that shit's real. That's why like I get mad when people talk about wrestling being fake. I'm like, everything is fake.
Exactly.
Like everything you watch is fake. Like it's entertainment. Like
it's there to entertain. And if it doesn't entertain you,
wrestling's more impressive because they're doing it live and they're doing it great. Like it's like like a play.
They're doing choreographed dance moves with punches
to the extreme.
To the extreme live, and they only probably botch like 5 or 6 of the moves. Every night. Yeah. Like and it's
depending
like,
on who you are.
Depending on who you are. I mean, you could be.
That's why great wrestlers.
That's why Botchamania exists.
Exactly. And I mean, the botches are some of the best parts.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be the same without the botches.
No, it wouldn't be. But it just goes to show like how good they are. Like if they were botching everything, wrestling wouldn't be there for 50 years. Wrestling was there before Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wrestling
Vince
goes
McMahon
back
just
as far
made it
as
what it is today.
Wrestling goes back to Egypt. They were wrestling for entertainment. Probably cavemen were probably wrestling each other.
Fucking wrestling was probably a big part of like the old, like original Olympics and shit back in like the Greek days, like ancient times and shit.
When it went public, like TV wise, I would say the first big promotion was probably WCCW, I think it was, or maybe there was, because it wasn't NWA. NWA was like the first one that the only reason people know that is because it turned into WWE. Like, what's his name went on there and threw away the title, and they were like, all right, now this is WWF, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's entertainment. Like,
I saw the one comment, and it's because for the people listening afterwards, I popped my phone up and did Facebook Live.
I didn't even realize we were Facebook Live in.
But the one comment we got is Nick Cannon saying Demolition Man. So like he was probably dying like motherfuckers. It's demo. Like he probably typed
Right,
it.
he's typing there like, oh my god, listen.
We
to
got
my
it
comment.
eventually though. So if
Yeah.
you're still watching, you realized. But
Okay. Yeah, we did realize what it was, but yeah, because that goes back to the original point. That in that one scene, it always clicks in my head that he woke up the robot and the robot fought Judge Dredd for some reason. And every time I told the story of the movies, it would play out. It would be like, yeah, Judge Dredd came through, or the Demolition Man where Wesley Snipes came out. But as soon as he gets to that part where Wesley Snipes wakes up the robot, and the robot really has no reason, like there's just a robot that gets woken up by Wesley Snipes, and I think he uses it for like 20 seconds or something.
I don't even remember the
Okay,
movie. Like,
but
I remember
because
the
I
movie,
watched
but
them
couldn't
both
tell you
recently.
anything about the movie itself.
Okay, I've watched them both recently. So there, and that one scene, it always clicks in my head that it was until my dad told me, like, no, that's not the same movie. I'm like, yeah, but he wakes up the robot and he fights Judge Dredd at the end, and he's like, no, that's not what happens. He fights Sylvester Stallone,
Yeah,
but he doesn't fight Judge Dredd, and it was just like, what?
no, like I can definitely see how you get the two movies.
Yeah,
mixed up.
and I do that with a lot of movies. Like I'll be like not so much more now, but like if I watch the same movie over and over again, and then I watched another movie over and over again, they just kind of click together. Like I'm just like, yeah, this dude, Captain America totally fought Spider-Man in DC Comics. Batman versus Superman, Spider-Man, episode 1. You're like, none of that even makes any fucking sense, dude. And I'm like, yes, it does. Spider-Man came through in the one scene where Flash came back and talked to him about his mom and his dad, and they fought real quick, and then he left. And you're like, dude, none of this fucking happened. Like, Spider-Man was in Civil War. Like, I still need to see Homecoming. Homecoming, I heard, was one of the best Spider-Man movies, and I heard actually.
I haven't seen it yet either. I haven't seen, dude. I'm so behind on all. I haven't seen Guardians 2. I haven't seen Wonder Woman.
I'm gonna closet this. I haven't seen Guardians 1.
Reality. Wait, what did you say?
I was slipping it out there. I was letting you talk. I haven't seen Guardians 1.
You haven't seen Guardians 1?
No.
Fuck, dude.
That's why I slipped it in there while you were talking.
That's one of the best ones Marvel's made, dude.
Yeah, see, I'm not a big Marvel fan. I don't know why. Every time I watch a Marvel movie, like the Avengers, I can't watch them all the way through. The only one I was able to watch was Doctor Strange. Love that movie.
I haven't seen that one either.
Oh my god, it's on Netflix.
And I've had every fucking opportunity to see it, and I haven't. I know my girl wants to watch it, so I've been waiting for her, but she's fucking busy all the goddamn. She's working, or she wants to go to sleep, or like we can't do fucking anything.
Right.
I feel like I barely know her anymore.
That's my life. I'm just always fucking working. But Doctor Strange is great. But what the whole point I was trying to make was they're bringing Infinity War is supposed to end. It's not going to end with Squirrel Girl. It's going to end with Spider-Man. And the way they said it might happen is the Shattered Dimension storyline, to where all the Spider-Mans came in and they all kind of stand there, and then something happens to the new Spider-Man and he realizes something, and then he gets super strong and fights Thanos and beats him. That's what's going to happen. But what they were saying would be cool is if they can get all the actors that played Spider-Man, like Tobey, what's his name?
Tobey Maguire,
and I don't know the other guy. I've never seen that one.
Andrew Garfield
as Spider-Man. And they all just had that one image where they come in from parallel universes, and then they explain why there was a new Spider-Man every fucking 3 years.
They should even get the old guy that played him in the old like 70s
that would be sweet.
Movie or TV show or whatever.
I don't even know that guy. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know it either. I just know it existed, and
Actually,
everybody hated it. No, Adam West, they couldn't even get him now. He died this year.
I know. I was trying to make the Spider-Man theme, but I made the Batman theme because it was like the old 60s Batman. They had a thing that was like, what's the best Batman? And it had it had Ben Affleck, it had Christian Bale.
I think I answered that. I said I couldn't even tell you what I said. I might have said Adam West, but I still love Christian Bale as Batman. I thought he did a really good job, but I haven't seen enough of Ben Affleck as Batman to really say that he's good. But the way he looks and what I have saw so far, I appreciate that version of Batman the most.
Yes, he's the most Bruce Wayne depicted.
Well, it's just so he's the most comic book Batman I've ever seen, aside from
that's what I meant.
The killing.
Yeah.
Which is strange to me, but at the same time, like, it's really not that. I mean, Batman has killed before. Everybody's favorite go-to Batman movie is the 1989 Tim Burton Batman, and that motherfucker was shooting people with guns.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
And, like, killing them, throwing them off of buildings and shit. Like,
yeah.
The Batmobile had fucking turrets on it.
The Michael Keaton one was the most, and that's the one I always go to, because Michael Keaton, to me, what should be old Batman. Like if they do a Batman Beyond, Michael Keaton would play the best. Ben Affleck would be the best probably actor for the role, but Michael Keaton would be the best looking for the role.
No, I would, and it would make the most sense.
It would.
Like,
Because
that would be
it's
awesome.
technically the old Batman and stuff.
No, I agree with that for sure.
Which sucks because Ben Affleck doesn't even want to do it anymore because
That's what they say.
DC.
Well, from what they're saying, it's Casey Affleck, his brother, that's saying he doesn't want to do it. Ben Affleck said that shit at Comic-Con or whatever.
Yeah.
That was supposed to dispel the rumors, even though he never once said that he still wants to be Batman. He just said
He just never
it's
said
awesome to be Batman.
he just never once said he doesn't want to be
Yeah,
Batman.
he didn't confirm or deny anything. He just
Yeah.
said being Batman's awesome, basically saying like, right now I'm Batman and it's awesome, but that doesn't mean I'm going to remain being Batman. But then his brother said something like, no, he's not going to do the solo Batman movies. But
see, he's already under contract, so
Says-
he has to.
says some fucking website that interviewed him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
for all we know, that never happened. Or Casey Affleck's at home going, what the fuck are they talking about?
Right, at the
You know?
bottom it says the Onion fake news or something. Like,
Yeah, or like you can't trust anything on the
No, you
internet
can't.
anymore. Like I thought fucking somebody died not too long ago because the site was so well made. It was like some CNN or something like it was like CNN something, but the site wasn't.
I think I remember what you're talking about.
Who was it? It was
'Cause
somebody.
I think I posted fake on. I think maybe George posted it or something. Somebody posted it to where I was like,
it was Clint Eastwood.
but yes, Clint Eastwood.
But it was on a CNN website, it was CNN Global or something like that .com. And
Yeah.
So I thought it was legit.
Yeah, dude.
And no one else was saying it wasn't. Like I looked it up on Google. I was like, I don't even remember what I typed, but I looked to make sure to confirm it. And usually there's something saying fake or something or other things saying it that it actually
Yeah,
happened.
it would
you
kind
know
of
what I
tell
mean?
you what was going on. Like there's a fake rumor going around the internet.
But this must have been so fucking recent at the time
It
that
didn't
I
even have a
saw it
chance.
that there was no one was dispelling this rumor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but later it came. Later, a day later probably.
Yeah, once they finally caught up with it. Like once Clint Eastwood finally tweeted out or came out and was like, I'm not dead. Like it's
Like,
not.
do I even need to say it?
Like really?
I'm here, right?
Like I'm like 97, Gran Torino number 7. Like we're doing this.
But
I actually just seen Gran Torino recently, like last year recently.
that's a good movie, dude.
It is. I can't believe there's so many movies that I haven't seen that I go back and watch them and I'm like, oh my god.
That's one of those movies that like I didn't know what it was. I'd heard about it. Like I've heard the name and I saw stuff for it and posters and whatnot, but I had no idea what it was about. And I had absolutely no desire to see it whatsoever until somebody was like, that movie's fucking great. You
Yeah,
need to watch it.
it really
I'm like,
is.
All right, I will. Then I did, and I was like, it had been out for like a year or two at that point. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't I watch this? This movie is great. Like,
Yeah.
This movie is like buy on Blu-ray worthy. Good.
Oh yeah. Gran Torino was like, you want to see more of it.
Like by the end of that movie, you're like angry and fucking happy at the same time because, like, spoiler alert, but like they get what they deserve in the fucking
They definitely
end.
do. And the movie, if you haven't seen the movie was about Clint Eastwood moved into a town that was
Dealt with racism.
Dealt with
he
racism.
was racist in the beginning.
Yeah,
and shit,
he was
and,
very
like,
racist because he had Spanish neighbors or Mexican neighbors or they
Something
were
like
like
that.
very ethnic neighbors because they were like doing the whole
I
ritual
think they
stuff.
were Korean or something because I think he fought in the Korean War.
Okay, because I
So
know
that's
that
what made him so. He kept calling them like racial slurs that I think had made sense that they were like Asian. of
Yeah.
well, I knew they were, but they were like Korean or something.
yeah, because they had
that.
like some kind of like they had a gang or something that was his cousin trying to get him in there. So it was like
Yeah,
it was
they
almost
were-
like watching those movies of gang war, but not following the gang war, just kind of seeing what the suburb
neighborhood
neighborhood
side
would
of
look
it.
like. Yeah, what the
Yeah.
neighborhood side, what
Like-
they get affected by.
It was more like seeing that what they call the greatest generation, how they deal with that
Yes.
sort of thing. Like the people who grew up fighting in the world wars and shit. That
Yeah.
like their whole life was about like the American dream and having families and shit and making America better. You know what I mean? And
Like
like
a good home-brewed movie.
Clint Eastwood's age. You
Yeah.
know, like he directed it too, so like
Which
he
is
knew all
crazy.
about it. So
Clint Eastwood, I can't believe he's still alive. Like he's been through.
he's like 90, ain't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
Like,
Didn't he make
over-
a movie with John Wayne at one point in time? Like he's been
Fuck, dude, I don't
around
know.
for like a minute. Like he started in the Dirty Harry. Like he was making westerns when westerns
his name
were
ain't
popular.
even Clint Eastwood.
No, it's not.
That's a character he played in a movie, and it was so fucking good that he just became Clint Eastwood after that.
He's so old that he just became the character that he is.
His fucking kid's name is something Eastwood. Like he is so Clint Eastwood that
oh my god! And I think
he became Clint Eastwood.
I think the movie you're thinking of too is called Magnum or something like that. It was the first movie he made that wasn't a western. Where he was a detective and like there was like a serial killer that he tried to find and ended up being a police officer.
I didn't follow the guy or anything. I'm not his biggest fan. I just know that like Clint Eastwood isn't his real name, but Clint Eastwood was like a character in a movie, wasn't it? That he played, right?
It was because he played Dirty Harry and he played Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood, I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the movie, but it was a movie where I think it was called Magnum, but he rode around in like an old Cadillac. It was obviously newer at that time. It was when all the police cars were like the old LTDs and the old Fords.
So it wasn't a western.
No, it was his first movie that he made that was modern. Well, he did play Clint Eastwood in
because I thought Clint Eastwood was
maybe
like
it was
the
good, the bad,
and the
maybe it was the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because he played Clint Eastwood in all of his westerns.
I don't know. Anybody listening right now is probably like, these guys are fucking dipshits.
Right?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Which we don't.
No,
I'll be the first one to I have no idea.
No.
That's why I'm asking.
My dad was a huge Clint Eastwood fan. That's how I've seen all the movies.
I can't remember his real name or anything, but and we're on.
It's
Facebook
like
Live,
it's like
so
John Carroll,
but like
something.
John Carroll. That's that's actually like one of my favorite drummers.
Is it?
Yeah, he was the drummer for the number 12 looks like
the name I just pulled out of my ass.
And he drummed for Horse the Band for a while, which I love Horse the Band.
Interesting.
But great drummer, John Carroll, but he spells it Jonkarel. So, and then John Carroll Lynch is an actor. He played Twisty the clown on American Horror Story. He's also Drew Carey's cross-dressing brother on the Drew Carey Show. John Carroll Lynch, ladies and gentlemen.
I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah, and
I don't think I was an actor.
Yeah, he's an actor. John Carroll Lynch.
Yeah.
Huh. Good dude. Never met him.
The more you know.
Cool dude.
The more you know.
He's been in all kinds of shit.
Facebook is
He was
weird.
in the fucking...
Do you know they actually started making
Mile,
Facebook Live only hour-long videos now?
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's because they're starting a new thing.
What
They're actually starting to... They want to integrate it, make it more like or like YouTube, and have their own like original shows and content and stuff. So we should probably do some more stuff on Facebook.
Maybe. Yeah, that's cool.
But they're not paying anybody. It's all like you do it yourself, and it's like an advertisement type deal. Like it's going to be like... I think they're trying to do what YouTube used to do, or along those lines. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's very early stages from what I hear, but...
Yeah, because the only reason I know about that is because my girlfriend does that Live Pearl thing, and she said they just updated it and made it an hour long. And I'm like, well, that's weird, because I never do Facebook Live.
Before, I think it was 3 hours. You couldn't go longer than 3 hours. That's why we got cut off in the middle of WrestleMania.
Yeah, you were able to go 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I think it was like 4 hours tops, depending on...
Yeah, that was the max. Like, you would have to be able to... And I think it would also base off, like, if your feed's going. Like, if you're a dead feed, they're just going to cut you off eventually.
That, and if your signal strength isn't very good.
Your signal strength isn't very good. Because there's been a couple times where I've seen people go Facebook Live, and it just kind of, like, for no reason. I'm just like, why are you even Facebook Live?
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Not only that, but...
All right.
I can't remember what we were talking about, but I had to piss, and we're back.
We are back.
Well, we are a good 43 or some minutes in here.
Nice.
So
it was
since it's audio, we can pretty much just go as fucking long as we want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be broken down into like 2 minutes. It could be put up as an hour and a half.
Well,
3 hours.
I'll probably just... I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just audio, so...
That's what I'm saying.
Just put the whole goddamn thing up. Like,
well, I'm just saying it doesn't matter, like you were saying, where it goes with the timing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I can't remember what the last thing we were talking about was.
We were talking about... definitely weren't talking about... Yeah, that picture threw you all off. Mark had to go pee, and then when he came back out of the bathroom,
He had what looked like a sequence of pictures that were set up like a...
Like one of those photo booth
like a time
pictures.
sequence, and a woman was shoving... They were going into a grocery store. She took a raw whole chicken and shoved it up into her vagina, and then put it back on. And I assume they were stealing it.
I'm assuming so, that they were stealing it.
But we were debating on whether or not what the whole purpose of this was. Not to mention the fact that is extremely unhealthy. And
Oh,
she
yeah,
could
it was
probably
very
get
unsanitary.
really fucking sick.
And
like salmonella.
So to not get too much detail, it was a lady stuffing a chicken.
In
a grocery store.
Up her vagina.
Yeah.
In a grocery store.
Just a raw poultry.
Yep. A whole chicken.
And there was several people there. Like, the beginning shots was a kid and a guy holding the chicken with her.
Well, we determined that the person taking the pictures was there with them.
Yes, the guy but somebody had their child there.
Yes.
Like, and it wasn't like somebody was walking down the aisleway with their child. That child was one of theirs.
No, the child was with them.
Yeah, were they feeding that chicken to the child?
I don't know.
Like, I want to know the after story. Like, did she get sick?
This is so strange. It's so strange.
It's
it's either completely set up and the whole thing's fake.
Yeah.
Or this was done for a specific.
But I mean,
reason.
the wings are like, she positions the legs to where
it's
she
not
can put
even
her underwear
fully
back
inside
on.
of her. It's like sticking out of her.
Kind of.
Like the legs are.
The legs are, but she got the whole base in there, and it's a decent size. It's probably, I would say, like a pound chicken. Like, it's probably like a pound of meat there.
Yeah,
it's not a whole turkey breast or something. It's not a whole like turkey.
It's like one of those rotisserie chickens you buy like in full in one of those little plastic containers.
And it's not fully,
raw.
Yeah, it's raw. It's not.
It's
fully
a raw
cooked yet.
chicken. It's fucked up. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Either the whole purpose is to make that sequence of pictures or meme, whatever you want to call it, or for some reason they wanted to document that she can shove a whole chicken up her vagina, or the fact that they can steal a whole chicken. I don't know. Like it could. Open-ended.
Next week on
there
what
needs
can you
to be a story with this.
Next week on what can you stick in your vagina? They try a whole Volkswagen Bug.
God, that's Herbie's best day of his life.
And then they try to work their way.
The girl wasn't unattractive.
No, she wasn't. And normally, like when
she wasn't like drop dead gorgeous, but I mean like.
But she was like a normal woman. She wasn't like somebody that you would think would do that.
No, if she wasn't shoving a chicken up her vagina, I probably would have been like, damn, I'd fuck her. You know what I mean? But
or if you were talking to her at the bar, like in a normal conversation, you would never look at this woman and be like, you stuff chicken in your pussy, don't you?
No, I don't think I would ever think that about any woman.
Well, no, I wouldn't either. I guess I would.
That'd be the last thing. Even a woman that might shove a chicken up her vagina, I wouldn't look at her and be like, I think she'd probably shove a chicken up her.
But now I'm going to. Now I'm going to look at women like, can she stick?
No.
Can she stick a picture in there?
My criteria now when it comes to women, that is a fact. That is a question I'm going to ask myself. Would she shove a raw whole chicken up her vagina? And could she?
Could she? And
Would
do
she
you
have
want,
her child
do you
present?
want that girl? Like, how blown is she? If she could stuff a whole chicken in there, how stretchable is that? Like, because obviously they didn't just walk in the store and stuff a chicken in there right off the bat, because nobody can spread that far. There's going to be pain. There's going to be blood.
Well,
there's going to be
maybe. Who knows? I mean,
unless she just stuffed it in
maybe
there
she's a porn star
and ate through the ripping of her insides, because that would have to stretch it to the point of like, it was almost like sticking a small ball in there.
I mean, it was bigger than that. Like a small ball.
Like a football.
Like
sticking a
you're
football
thinking
in
like
there.
the small versions of basketballs.
Small versions of basketball. Like a dodgeball, but a
like,
little bit smaller.
Like the ones that you like just for the hoops you stick on your wall or your door or something.
Volleyball size would be a little bit best. Probably the best.
All right. That's bigger than I was thinking more like maybe cantaloupe.
Cantaloupe? I thought
like
a volleyball was the size of
like a softball.
What am I thinking of? A volleyball is huge. I'm thinking of the smaller version. Looks just like a volleyball. Maybe it was a toy version.
I've seen small soccer balls.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was a small soccer ball.
Thinking
Maybe they were just like the toy version of it, though. Either way, this is like, if you have ever seen this picture and you end up watching this audio, comment down below and say, like, tell us there's a story behind this. If you're the person stuffing the chicken, contact us.
I was gonna say maybe send me the picture and I'll post it in the comments for when I post this on things, but. A lot like Facebook's not going to allow that.
No, you would have to like blur everything out, and it would take away from the chicken.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be able to.
Maybe if you're really that interested in it, go to @Hayward on Twitter, and maybe you'll post. You want to post it on Twitter?
I don't know if I want to post that.
Okay, all right, don't do that. Okay,
I don't know if I want to.
If you really want to see it, get a hold of Jesse on Twitter, and he'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you in a DM.
@Hayward.
If you follow me on Twitter @Hayward, because that's the only way you could send a DM. This isn't a plug, but if you follow me on Twitter, I'll send you the DM of the picture, and we can socialize about it, and we can go back to the video and socialize there. Because if you ever, the whole thing is, this needs to be the thumbnail of Bloatfly Girl. And have you ever heard the story of Bloatfly Girl?
A Bloatfly Girl?
Bloatfly Girl.
I don't know. That doesn't.
Okay.
I think I hear bloatfly and I think fallout.
Okay. Bloatfly girl is a girl that walks up to a dumpster. And that's the beginning of the story. She's like, as I approach the dumpster, I take my... well, she doesn't take her underwear off yet. But she's like, as I approach the dumpster, I get in there. I feel like anxious. Like, it goes through her emotions. Like, she's like, I walk up to the dumpster, and I'm like, oh, this chick is dumpster diving. Like, what kind of GameStop video is she going to get today?
Yeah.
And so she's like, I walk up to the dumpster, and I feel anxiety, and then I jump in, and she, like, starts playing with herself in the dumpster. And then she starts, like, humping a garbage bag. And she builds herself up. And the next day she takes her panties off. And now she's humping the garbage bag with no panties on. And it goes through and she ends up, she's like, and then I finally built the courage to rip the bag open. And I seen what was inside. And it was rotting meat. And I took the rotting meat and she was like, and I was like playing with myself with the rotting meat. And then she was like, there was maggots all over it, deeper. Because she was like, I got deeper and deeper into this rotting meat. And then she ends up stuffing the rotting meat and taking it home because she brought 2 pairs of panties this time so they wouldn't fall out.
So she stuffed it inside of herself?
She stuffed the raw meat inside of herself and went home with it.
She's what? Okay, I must have missed something here. What is this?
This is a story. This is a story called Bloatfly Girl, and there's another one called. I never read the second.
It's just
story.
like somebody made. It's like
a
on
blog.
Reddit.
It's like somebody, like somebody on Reddit,
like
typed out a story like this has happened. Like this is supposedly a true story.
Almost like creepypasta.
Like a creepypasta. But
this is supposedly true.
The author is the narrator or whatever is the person that wrote the story.
Okay.
Like it was posted by them supposedly.
All right.
Like she's got like it would almost be like following a blog about fashion, but it's about weird stuff like this. Again,
Gotcha.
It's another one sent by
but
our
she's
buddy Matt
so
Donaldson.
she's of course. Like I
Who
said,
else
that's
would
such
send me
a
that stuff?
Fucking Matt Donaldson.
It
thing.
is.
Like only him.
And I'm pretty sure it was posted on Reddit. And I'm pretty sure it's a Reddit thread.
It sounds like
but like it goes through and it talks about
Reddit.
how she gets infected and stuff like that. And it talks about it because it ends with her in the like waking up in the hospital.
So she shoved a bunch of.
I mean, there's a lot more detail into it. Like it goes like I'll have to send you the story one day and you can skim over it.
This is fucked. I don't read much on Reddit.
Yeah. Well, see,
I always hear about it, and like I've looked up some Reddit stuff, and I've read things on Reddit, but like I never use Reddit to seek things out. You know what I mean?
Neither do I.
But
a lot of my weird stuff comes from like Facebook or like someone will tell me about something and I'll look it up. Like I don't like this stuff comes to me. I don't know. It's weird. Like weird stuff comes to me. I don't really seek out things. Like I'll just be sitting there watching YouTube, and then all of a sudden now I'm on the weird part of YouTube.
Yeah,
or it's like, and I'm watching the weirdest of the weird videos and stuff like that.
Most new discoveries either come from some word of mouth, somebody telling me about it, or showing me something, or that fucking rabbit hole you go down when you watch one thing on YouTube and you got nothing to do.
Yeah,
and you're just like, oh, like it's like suggested videos afterwards. Not only now, but now they have those fucking those end cards you can put on there. I've actually been fucking with those a little bit, where you can actually make an ending screen on the end of the video, and you can put like links to your Patreon or links to your store, and then like other videos, like other specific videos you could put on there, or you can just make it like your most recent one or whatever. So now that they do that, that leads me to other videos from the same channel.
Okay.
So that actually leads me to more subscribing to things more, because I'm starting to see more of these people's content, which I see why they do it. It would help us a lot too. That's why I started doing it. But we just haven't been putting out as much content lately for me to be promoting the content like that. But once we get a Patreon going someday, when I feel like we could actually, it'd be worth all the effort. You know,
most definitely.
I'll start doing that. But as of now, like the store's on there and links to other videos.
Just skim over. That's a story. You don't have to read it out loud. But
it's called Maggot Story?
Yeah, it's called Maggot Story. And I think I just made up the name Bloatfly Girl, honestly.
Here's my Maggot Story, the one I didn't lose. Anyway, I wrote this about 2 weeks ago after my experience with maggots about 5 years ago. I didn't realize people would ask me to repost it soon, so hope you enjoy it. So
it's like she posted a story a couple years ago.
So it's about herself.
Yeah, it's about herself.
So this is her.
Yeah, this is her.
That's even more fucked up.
Yeah, I know, because there's another one called Dead Deer, and I haven't read that one, but that's where it starts out. He didn't want to give me any spoilers, but he's like, it starts out with her walking up to roadkill on the side of the road.
It starts out like this. Like I just
it starts out
what
just
I
like
just
that.
read was was like the prologue.
Yeah,
and then there's like a bunch of dots, and then the story starts, and the story starts out like this. Sunday was warm and sunny, just how I always fantasized it would be when I finally went through with it. I started walking to the dumpster I think that's supposed to be started.
I think it's supposed to be started.
I started walking to the dumpster again, I think about 2 p.m., and I was really excited and nervous. I felt butterflies in my tummy just anticipating what I was about to do. So this bitch, this is like a fantasy of her, and she's wanted to do this for a while.
For a while.
And she's writing about it like...
Oh, dude!
Like it's something she really cared about.
Like scroll down a little bit and get to like the like close to the end of the story and see.
That was the first paragraph to the story.
Yeah, the first probably 2 paragraphs of the story is like, what the fuck is going on?
This
here?
is the second paragraph. The dumpster is in the alley behind a restaurant near my house. It gets emptied on Tuesdays, so by Sunday it's pretty stinky and there are flies buzzing around, which means there are things rotting inside there, and that's just perfect for me. A few times in the past, I climbed into that dumpster and masturbated. What the fuck?
Right, dude. That's where it gets weird. Like
nothing too intense. Most I'd ever done was take off my pants and hup against the dirty garbage bags. And one time, I laid there with my legs spread, watching the flies land on me. Jesus Christ! Like, okay. First off, I want to see what this girl looks like.
Yes.
Is she like now? Is this what she needs to do to get off because she can't get it anywhere else, or? Is she like some very, like, most men would be like, yeah, she's attractive. I'd fuck her. And most men would say, you know what I mean?
In my mind, she has to be.
And she's just really fucked up in the head.
Yeah.
Or like, this she has to, this is what she gets off on. Like, dudes just don't do it for her anymore.
In my mind, she's either tall enough to just step over the dumpster are small enough and athletic enough to be able to jump into the dumpster. So she has to be like a normal average size.
I mean, you can get it.
But like looking wise, I don't know. Like there's no real depiction that you can get look wise from this. Like the more you get into the story.
No, she doesn't describe herself. All she's doing is describing the act itself.
Yeah.
Almost as if she's writing this for people who already know who she is, and what she looks like, and like for fans, at this point,
and it's almost like a fantasy website, like one of those. What are they called? They're not fantasies, but they're like the weird things that people
almost
like. People like farts and like people like the smell of farts, and people like what is that called? It's like,
I don't know what they're called, but I know
they like weird. They like
it's
weird
almost
stuff
like
it's what gets them off. Like somebody somebody spits in their mouth and they're like, oh.
Yeah, and like people getting off on like puke and stuff like that. Yeah,
people getting off on puke
peeing
and stuff
on
like
people.
people
and
watching
like people
eat.
Write those stories, and like some people are into incest, so they'll write about fucking their cousins.
Yeah,
and shit,
so I'm thinking that's what this is.
Like all kinds of stuff. Like there is a term for it, but it's almost like those old Hustler articles that people like the stories. Yep. Like I forget what they called them, but I don't think they were true, but just the way they were written, they were like erotic, and it got they were kind of hot. You know what I mean? But
that was the best. Honestly, people say they get Playboy and Hustler for the ads. That's why you get it, because those are the best. That's the best part of the book. Like you can see a naked woman anytime. Like I mean, maybe not back then. It was because this is the thumbnail. Like she looks like an average. Like if that's actually her, like you can't really see much, but she would look probably like an attractive woman.
That's a really.
Because when you click on it, you can't see
blurry.
It doesn't go into anything else. It just goes back to the story.
That almost just looks like she found some random thumbnail on Google or something. Because that picture is so blurry and pixelated and shitty looking that it looks like it's really fucking small and it's been blown up.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't either.
But for all we know, it's a dude writing all this stuff. You know what I mean?
It could be because like. If you think about it, people have crazy, like, expanding minds. I could write something like that with the proper knowledge of like, how things work and, like, what people are into. You could probably go in and create a creepy... I don't know about as far as that goes. Like, that almost... It's so detailed that it feels like it really was going on.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That's weird. I mean, I didn't read the whole story or nothing, but just...
Well, like, it gets into the part to where she lays in bed, and it gets so infected that... Because, like, the more it's in there, the more she gets off. So this whole time, she's just laying in bed with this just flesh inside of her. Like, the maggots grow. That's why I dubbed her Bloatfly Girl, because the maggots grow inside of her.
Well, the blog itself is called Bloatfly Girl.
Was it called Bloatfly Girl?
Like,
okay.
if you look at the address on it, it's like bloatflygirl.something.com. Like bloatflygirl. Whatever blog site she uses .com. Like,
okay.
So
you could actually go to like her. Maybe she has pictures or something, or saw more stories.
yeah, she's like a sick, sadistic, fucked up like Perez Hilton or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because that's how he started out. Like he just made blogs, and then so many people followed him that he could get advertisements and like sponsorships and promotions and shit.
Would you be able to advertise something like that?
I mean,
that's
anything like that. If you get enough fucking traffic to your website, you can get advertisers.
True.
Like that's why podcasts, like when they first, podcasts are huge now. Podcasts is the new radio these days. Like there's more people doing podcasts, doing more with a podcast than you could ever do on radio. More people listen to podcasts than they do radio now.
It's more accessible.
It's actually pissing Howard Stern off. Like
Howard Stern would be a good podcaster. If Howard Stern
he'd never
turned
do
his
it.
show
He
into
hates
a
on
podcast,
podcasting so much.
Does he?
He sees it as like the death of radio, I guess. But which it kind of is.
It is.
When you have more freedom, it's going to kill the thing that doesn't give you as much freedom.
Yep.
That's why the internet is killing cable.
Yeah. Netflix. That's why you can, like you were saying, you could get HBO Go. Like you don't even need cable anymore to access these channels that were only accessible.
Like
through a cable.
HBO Go
provider.
is what you get when you have HBO.
Okay.
So that's just.
But I mean, if I
app.
ordered HBO, like I would have it on my phone.
Well, HBO Now is what you do when you don't
HBO
have
Now.
cable.
That's
in
what
HBO.
it is. Okay.
Like, HBO is just like the HBO Go is the like mobile app that goes along with your HBO.
Okay, I get it.
HBO Now is the paid subscription service. So
Yes.
like if you don't have cable, you can just get a Netflix version of
For
HBO.
like $12 or $13 a month, and
It's
sometimes
like 15. It's 15.
$15 a month, and sometimes that's what people only want. They only want the movie channels, or they only want certain things.
Well, that's the issue. Is at this point, there's so many, and and they're all specified for the certain things that you want. But once you get so many of them, you're almost paying just as much as you would for cable or more, depending on how many you want.
And that's why.
So what they need to do is figure out a system where, like, I don't even know what they need to do, but like the best thing I could think of is some sort of package deal where like I don't know, where like they all kind of team up together and you get like 5 subscriptions for a certain price or something. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to do because everyone's got their own fucking subscription.
Well, they would have to open it up like Hulu. Like Hulu has a bunch of TV shows. Hulu needs to step in and grab up HBO and Showtime and raise the price to $20 a month for Hulu. Like I'd pay $20 a month if I had access to HBO, Showtime, and just even access to Showtime and HBO, and then everything else Hulu has. I would pay an extra $10 a month.
Well, that's kind of what Hulu's doing now.
Okay.
If you have Hulu now, you can you pay $8.99 or whatever for basic Hulu with commercials.
Yeah.
Which I think if you pay it all, you shouldn't fucking use commercials.
No,
but if you
not
pay,
at all.
If you pay like 10 or 15, I don't know how much it is to do it without any commercials at all. But it's more money. But basically, you can do it with the commercials for like $8.99 a month. And now they offer you this thing where you can get Hulu. I forget what they call it, but basically you pay $30 a month. You get live television. You can watch things live.
Oh wow!
And not only that, but like for this much a month and that much a month, you can add all the Showtime shows, or you can add all the HBO shows.
Okay, but then it gets into like a cable subscription at that point because you're paying $30 to have all that, and
not only that, but
you're $20
you're paying
on top of
for
that.
internet too.
Yeah, you're paying for internet.
$60 for internet just so you can run all these apps.
And I almost wonder if they're doing that because cable is sitting there like, don't drown us out. We see what you guys did to Blockbuster. We'll be one of your sponsors. Well, like cable's made so much money that cable itself could be a sponsor and hide behind like a paywall, like a commercial wall to where it's like Spectrum.
Well,
every time you see a Spectrum commercial.
The only thing keeping cable alive, dude, is the fact that they're the internet providers.
Yeah.
Like that's why they'll offer you. That's why they always want you to get the package deals where you get cable, landline phone, and internet at $30 each, but in the end you're fucking paying $90.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like if you got just internet, for the same internet you would get for $30 in the package deal, like the 60 megabytes per second, like you know, the good internet that is more internet than you need, you're paying $60 for by itself.
Yeah.
So you almost it's a better deal to do the package deal, but I don't need a fucking home phone.
No, I don't.
And I don't need, if I have internet, I don't need cable.
No.
So
I haven't had cable in probably 10 years. Like, it's been probably like 10 years since I've had cable.
Dude, I never had cable, if you think about it. Like, even when I lived with my parents and shit, all the way up until, like, probably 13 years old, we had antenna TV.
Okay.
My dad finally got us a satellite dish once I got into, like, middle school. And we only had that until I got out of, like, high school. And then, like, if I go to my parents' house now, they're still using... They got the converter box, but they're still using antenna television.
Okay, yeah.
They have, like 9 channels. You know what I mean? And their internet sucks. Because where they live on a big hill and shit. Like, it just makes it really fucking impossible for anything to run. Even though, to this day, I think Time Warner or Spectrum or whatever... all the internet providers are bullshitting them, saying, oh, well, you can't get internet in your area, even though I know every other motherfucker on their street ain't living without internet.
No. It's impossible.
What they do is they don't want to take the fucking time to go out there and figure out how to run internet up there.
Yep, exactly. And there's a couple places that do that, so we're like, oh, we can't, or we give you shitty internet in your area.
Well, then you have issues like me. I don't have another provider. The only other provider I could go to other than, well, it was Time Warner at the time, but now it's Spectrum.
Yeah.
They have a monopoly on this whole fucking area. The only other person I can go to is Verizon, and then I'm paying for data, basically. I'm paying per usage, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
It costs them nothing to generate internet. It costs them nothing to generate data on phones. Like, it's not even a physical thing.
No, it's not. It's a free source. Like, they could literally take the internet and just give it to you at this point. Like, I understand, like, the devices and the Wi-Fis and the stuff like that, but, like you're saying, it's an open source, like the data. Like, I don't need to have only 6 gigs a month.
Yeah, no,
like, it doesn't need to be locked down.
They are fucking inflating the shit out of data.
Oh yeah,
that's why they can sell you pretty much what you get on your phone from Time Warner for $20 a month.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Unlimited. The same speeds and everything. Like, that's what you're getting on your phone is the shitty version of what Time Warner or Spectrum is providing.
And I almost wonder
the cheapest version.
If that's written into a monopoly law somewhere to where that's why it's that way. Because if they provided unlimited and you wouldn't need Wi-Fi, like you would, so you still need, like they almost help each other.
Well,
because like the Wi-Fi gives me unlimited internet.
A better connection.
It is. It's a better connection, but it gives you unlimited internet. That way you're not using your data, but then you're paying for your Wi-Fi bill. Mm-hmm. You're also paying for your phone bill.
You're paying for all of this.
You're paying for all of it. So at the end of the day, and then if you got cable and a house phone on top of that.
And through Verizon, you're paying like per gigabyte.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they give you a certain amount.
Up to like 10 gigs.
For a certain price. And then once you go over that, each gigabyte's like $10.
Yeah.
$10 extra. That's what my parents have to do in order to have internet. They had to go through Verizon, get this little card thing that hooks into their computer. It doesn't even hook up to like a fucking phone line or anything. Like it's just literally hooks into their computer. So this thing is getting a wireless signal from something.
Yeah, from a satellite or
so
something.
Obviously internet is capable of being up there on that hill where they live.
Yeah, because
like
they didn't run an
mile
extension
long.
cord down to like the city.
Yeah.
To fucking run internet through it. Yeah, that makes no sense.
Well, no. Now that I think about it, it had to be linked up to their home phone because they have a home phone.
Yeah.
So it's hooked up to. So it is hooked up to a phone.
So it goes through like a DSL line.
But it's wirelessly going from that home phone, basically modem router that is also a phone, wirelessly to this little card that's hooked into their fucking desktop computer, right? So that shows you right there that it's totally and utterly capable of giving you high-speed internet up there.
Yes.
So why the fuck can't Time Warner do it?
Yeah, it makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense at all.
They're paying $10 extra a gig, which, granted, they use very little of the internet. They're not downloading or streaming things. They can't have Netflix or they'd be paying out the ass for it. But, like, they're not doing any of those things. I'm sure they'd love to have Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm sure my mom would love to fucking have shit to watch so I don't have to put it on her Kindle. You know what I mean? Illegally.
Well, yeah.
But because everything costs so goddamn much. But it's ridiculous, dude.
It is, dude. I mean, and like I get the whole, like the monopoly thing you were talking about. When I lived in Parma, you probably won't even know them, Cox Cable.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
They literally had like 5-mile radius in Parma that you couldn't get any other cable provider but Cox Cable in that 5-mile radius. And you're like, this is stupid. Like, your guys' internet sucks and I can't go anywhere else. Or, like you said, I can go to Verizon. This is back when everything was unlimited, like before they were like, we can make money on space
because people are gonna pay it. Because, dude, if my internet got shut off today, I wouldn't. It would be like going back to living with my parents in like 1998.
Yeah,
I'd have to. The only thing I could do are things that I have. Like that's why I'm big on not going digital, buying everything in physical copies,
physical versions,
because digital is way too easy to lose. You don't get anything. You don't get anything for your money, and at least with a physical copy, I can sell it.
Yeah, you can't
like
sell something.
I bought fucking Deadpool on Blu-ray and didn't just order it on iTunes as a digital copy and put it on my phone or something. But like, at least I could still get like $3 for it at the exchange.
And what's crazy is you could
the exchange isn't going to buy the digital copy I bought on iTunes.
No, they're not.
Not only that, but like I have to store that somewhere now. Like it's going to take up a gigabyte or two on my hard drive.
Easy.
That's on a disc. All I got to do is put it somewhere. Yeah, like now I physically have to store it.
Yeah.
But I'd rather do that than have to clear out my hard drive all the goddamn time.
And not only that, but you bought that for what? Probably like $15-$20, okay? Because of the Blu-ray. So you spent $20 on it.
Most, like, if it's a fucking, like, Avengers movie, you're still paying $24 for it 10 years later.
But 9 times out of 10, it comes with a digital download for free.
It comes with a DVD, a Blu-ray, and a digital download.
And the digital download is $25 by itself.
Not only that, but I couldn't tell you. The only time I ever use a digital download is if it's a digital download for something that isn't something that's on the disc I just bought.
Yeah.
So, like, usually, like, for Star Wars, when Force Awakens came out, the reason I bought the Target version is because it came with exclusive bonus content only from Target, but it was a digital download.
Okay.
That is the only time I have
like
ever fucking used a digital download from a movie, is to watch that thing that I wouldn't be able to watch it unless I got that digital download. To me, if I have a DVD and a Blu-ray with the movie fucking on it, what the fuck do I need a digital download for? Yeah, if I want to take it with me.
Yeah, on your phone.
What are the chances I'm going to want to watch Guardians of the Galaxy again when I go to fucking Kentucky or something?
Yeah.
Why I would go to Kentucky, I don't know.
And again, you got to have signal and data for
but
all
like,
that.
If I'm... Yeah, well,
you can't just plug it into a wall and watch it on a disc.
Digital downloads, though, you can. Like, you don't need
just
internet.
watch it off?
Because what it is it's just the thing. Like, you put it on there, it's on there. Okay. You don't need internet.
Because all the digital downloads I've ever used were from, like, Alex gives me his movies, and I have to put them on Vudu, but I still need to be able to get to Vudu to watch them.
Oh,
I can't just watch them on iTunes.
No, most digital downloads now, you actually get the physical... Well, not the physical, but you actually get the file itself, and it's saved on your hard drive, so you could put it wherever.
Okay, see, a lot of these were a lot of Walmart. That's like, what it is, because Walmart links their... Because every time you buy a movie from Walmart, if it has a Vudu, it automatically links to your Vudu account.
Certain, kind of like Steam games and stuff. You can't play unless you're online. Like or like... but, for example, it's more like if you buy a song on iTunes... You don't have to be on the internet to listen to that song.
Yeah, because you have the file on your iTunes app or whatever.
Or your iPod or your phone or whatever. So you bought and paid for it. The thing I don't like is that I don't have... What am I getting? I didn't get anything physically.
No.
I can watch the movie on my computer, on my device or whatever, but like that's all I got. If my hard drive gets erased, I don't have it anymore. Yeah, maybe it's saved in the fucking iTunes store or whatever, but like... That I don't know. There's pros and cons on both sides.
Yeah, there's a backup of a backup of a backup when literally
in the
this
end,
is all you needed was one thing for the disc.
If I'm going to be paying full price for something, or if I'm going to be paying good money for something, I want something for my money.
Yeah, you want to get your money's worth. You want to know that you got something out of it.
And not only that, but I mean, I don't have a video going right now, but anybody that knows me knows that I'm a fucking collector.
Oh yeah.
Like I like things. I like things,
physical things,
and I like digital things too.
Stuff but you like having things, like stuff you could look at, stuff you could display.
I'm the physicality of it, the fact that there are physical objects and not like digital media, to me makes it have more value. Like, to me, it makes it not just a purchase; it's a kind of an investment.
Yeah,
because like for example, that fucking statue of Green Arrow. I could still probably get few bucks for that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I got it for my birthday. I think it was like $50 at the store. But, like, I could sell it now easily for $20-$30.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. Stuff has resale.
Fucking, I can't do that with a fucking digital download. Nobody's going to buy a fucking digital download.
It's a one-time use. They'd be like, no, bro, just give me your login.
Yeah.
Like, let me just get your iTunes login so I can watch the movie.
Well, no, it's like you can't sell a fucking digital download. Is it like, let's say I had a garage sale. Here's a sheet of paper with all my digital downloads. I'll give it to you for $1.
Yeah.
And like, no, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
No, like, but if you sit there and you see Deadpool on Blu-ray for, $5 or something, you're going to be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to grab
I love
that.
Deadpool. Like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many CDs I bought for like $5 at a garage sale.
Oh, definitely.
Or
Garage
less.
sales or
Fucking
game
movies
exchanges.
for like 50 cents. Like,
That's why places like Game Exchange exist, and there's pawn shops, because those are physical items. Like, it goes back to the bartering system. I'm like, you trade it. If money collapsed, we would be trading items.
yeah.
Like, I would trade you a cup of coffee for a sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just how it would work. I couldn't trade you a piece of paper and be like, I'm going to give you you'd be like, the fuck is this? Oh, it's a handwritten note.
Yeah.
And you're like, this isn't worth anything. Oh, it's worth the world to me. That doesn't fucking mean anything to me. Like,
No.
that's exactly what a digital copy is. It's like,
sentimental
here goes a
value.
piece of paper.
Yeah.
And if you have no use for it, there's nothing. I'm going to wipe my ass with this.
Well,
yeah, great.
What if you don't have a device to play it? You know what I mean? Which I guess is the same thing.
I actually ran into that.
If you don't have a Blu-ray player or a DVD player, you can't play that. But I mean, like in the future, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like film versus, and I've made this argument so many times on podcasts, but it's like film versus digital. You know what I mean? Like most movies nowadays are filmed with digital cameras, and they're not actually on. There's no physical film whatsoever, as opposed to movies all back in the day were put on
like an actual real
celluloid film. That like, but let's say the whole world goes up, aliens come, they land, it's just a fucking apocalyptic wasteland. There's no sign of human existence anymore. They find a fucking film canister in the ground with fucking Gone with the Wind on it, or fuck, even something as like ridiculous as like Daddy's Home.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. Like all they got to do is put it up in the sky to the light, and they can see the movie.
Yeah, they'll be
They
able to.
They can. All they got to do is run it through a reel, and they can watch the movie.
It's like hieroglyphs.
Um,
Like they used to put shit in stone. That's how we see their depiction of entertainment.
no matter what, it's there.
Yeah.
Just like a record. Like you can put a vinyl record on a record player, have it plugged into no speakers, start it, and you can hear the music just coming off the record.
Yep.
Because it is physically in existence on that record. You're hearing the vibrational, like the speakers are just amplifying those vibrations. That's
Yeah.
all sound is fucking like waves and vibrations and shit.
Yeah.
So like that's why like a guitar string is a perfect example. You vibrate the guitar string and it creates a sound.
Yep.
That's what everything is.
Like if I bought a laser disc right
String
now, and I had a
theory.
laser disc player, I could watch that laser disc.
Yeah.
If I found a code from 2009 and it expired in 2010, that code is gone.
Yeah.
There's no more
Oh,
media. It might have a file
It's in the cloud.
backdated
well, the
somewhere
world's
else.
up, and the cloud doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what
the code doesn't exist. It's gone.
Well, it's just the whole like.
Yeah.
If that shit's not turned on, it's not floating in the ether anymore. It's
If I walked into the thing and shut down their servers right now,
Willy Wonka killed that kid because he couldn't get put back together in the other TV.
right,
Like,
right. He became a blueberry and got rolled out.
yeah, Violet, you're turning violet, Violet.
Augustus
Augustus
Gloop. Yeah, that actually happened to me recently. Me and my girl
You
were
got sucked
talking.
into a chocolate river?
Yeah, I did actually. Chocolate rim job.
You go ahead.
All right, so me and my girl were like, let's rent a movie, right? And I was like, dude, let's rent a movie from Redbox. And I'm like, all right, cool. And it was a solid copy, but it goes off of what we were saying, where if you don't have the thing to play it, you're screwed. Yeah. I get into Redbox and I'm looking and I'm like, oh, dude, they got a deal. I'm like, these movies are like $1.50, and then if you buy two, you get two of them, you get the next one for $1. So it was like $2.50 for two. So I'm like, I'm on the second movie, and then I realize I'm like, we didn't bring the PS4. I don't have a DVD player or a Blu-ray player at home.
Yeah, you need something to
So
play.
I'm screwed here. So we ended up going home watching something on Netflix, which is the opposite of probably what we were talking about with the thing.
Yeah,
but it still goes off if you don't have it. Like it would have been the opposite if I had a DVD player, but somebody handed me a code. I'd be like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? I got a DVD player at home. I don't have a computer.
Yeah, you have to have a. some sort of device.
You have to have some kind of device, yeah.
To play a digital code, which I mean, essentially...
And I guess the DVD would go off the digital code, too, because I can't pick up a DVD and go like this and see the movie.
It's still the same thing. Like, it's all digital. Except there's this digital file is on a physical thing.
It's a physical copy, yeah.
Like, the digital file, like, no matter what, you're going to need a device to play it, whether it's a physical copy.
I mean, even with
something.
VHSs, you need a device to play them. Like, it just had that old school lithograph,
but in order to play a digital file, you would have to put it on a computer, and then put it on a device, or watch it on that computer.
Yep.
Or it would have to be on a hard drive that plugs into your PlayStation, or a hard drive that plugs into your smart TV or something or whatever. Yep. Like, no matter what, it's going to have to be on some physical source. So why not just buy the fucking physical source?
Yeah.
That comes with the digital file. Like,
and with
I'm
that
not going to
DVD...
just buy a digital file. I'll buy the combo pack Blu-ray that comes with the DVD, the Blu-ray, and the digital file.
But like when you buy that DVD, you're gonna go home and you're gonna put that DVD in and it's gonna play the movie, unless it's corrupted. I buy that digital code. Like, say I bought a digital code off you for $5. Say that was a thing. I go home and put it in. Oh, he already used it. I'm fucking out $5 now. There was no actual...
That's if you buy it used. Not only that, but digital codes expire.
Yeah, digital codes expire. If that digital code was a broken link, like, there's been times where I clicked on something on Facebook, it was a broken link.
Yeah.
If that happened to me on a movie, like, I'd be screwed. There was no... Because I didn't buy the DVD, I couldn't just go home and throw it in the disc.
I've bought, like, I know with vinyl albums now, like, a big thing they do just to, you'll buy the vinyl record, and then it comes with the CD and a digital code. Just like a Blu-ray or something. And, they'll fucking... I've actually gotten the digital codes, and I'm like, that's cool, because then I can just put it on my computer if I ever want to put it on, like on my phone or something, or listen to it through iTunes on my good speakers and shit.
Right.
And, which is cool. But then I've went and I've actually used it, and it didn't work, or it said, like, link has expired, or this, or whatever, and I've actually had to go to customer support, email them and be like, look, I never used this. I just got this the other day. I waited 2 days to even use the digital code.
Yeah.
What's the deal? And they're like, oh, sorry, here you go. Use this code now, or we refreshed it. Like, they had turned it off before the expiration date even happened. Like,
yeah,
the fact that
expecting
it has
it to be gone.
Expiration date is a red flag for me.
Yeah.
Already.
Your DVD doesn't have an expiration date unless you
have
use
a
it up.
goddamn expiration date.
Yeah.
Like, just use it one time. It doesn't matter how late you use it, as long as it gets used the one time. I mean, that digital code is in a system.
Yep.
And it knows whether or not it's been used or not. And if it has been used or not, your system's fucking flawed.
And some digital codes only have a certain amount that you can download. Some of them cap off at like 1,000 or 100 or 10.
And some of that is because of the host provider for the website. Like, I know, like, for on Bandcamp or whatever, you can set it so, like, only the first 100 listens of it are free, and then after that you have to buy it. But I always turn that off. Who the fuck?
Right, like, I mean, that's for people that are on there, like, people, like, if Joe Rogan came on Bandcamp.
Yeah, people that, like, are actually making something, some sort of profit off this sort of thing.
They would give you, like, the first probably 45 seconds free.
Or, like, people making, like, music and shit that isn't just, like, on a weekly... Because who goes back and listens to, like, episode number 4 of a podcast that has, 700 episodes?
Yeah.
Very rarely.
And then you're playing it.
Unless they refer to it in a recent episode, and you want to, I want to hear that, and you go back. That's really the only time I listen to episode 1 of a podcast that's been on for fucking ever.
3 minutes in, it was like, all right, now you got to lower the paywall. And you're like, the fuck? Why is there a paywall on this old podcast? I'm just going to go to YouTube and listen to it. Like, like, you just go around it, and if you can't go around it, you're just going to be pissed off. You just might not even listen to that guy anymore.
Now, when you make it too complicated, people stop trying.
Yep. It definitely is.
I'm trying to, as of right now, what's the word they use? Fucking when you God, I know the word. I've used it like a bunch of times, and for some reason it eludes me. But I'm trying to syndicate it, get it on all different kinds of platforms, on like Stitcher, iTunes. But in order to do that, you have to set up an RSS feed, and in order to set up an RSS feed, it has to have somewhere it's reading this feed from. So I have to set up like a blog, basically, and just put it out in order, time by time, and then the RSS feed collects all those posts that you're doing, and then you have to link that RSS feed to like like iTunes. Then you have to link that to Stitcher, and you got to do it for each individual show. You know what I mean? So I have to have, like, let's say I've got Jam Up our podcast, Jay and Mark, and fucking, for instance, like Western Jesus. You know what I mean? That's 4 podcasts. So I'd have to make 4 blogs that are specifically centered on those podcasts, right? So that the RSS feeds aren't all mixed up. So like the RSS feed isn't like Jam Up number 4, then Jay and Mark number 36, and then Jesse and Mark's podcast number 7, and then like just so it's Jam Up 1, Jam Up 2, Jam Up 3, Jam Up 4. Like,
keeps it in the order it's supposed to be.
There's so much you have to keep track of, and each one has a username, and each one has a fucking password. It's a lot of fucking shit.
And I love people that listen to these things, and it's like, you just upload a video to YouTube for a living, and it's like, no, the fuck you don't, bro.
Don't, dude. Like, no.
It's like there's a lot of technical work that goes into this stuff.
It's like, why do you put so much money into this shit? Because it makes it like 1,000 times fucking easier.
Yeah,
it means I can put out a podcast in 2 days instead of a week.
Makes it 1,000 times easier. Makes it 1,000 times better.
I can do it all at once, and then it's done, and I can just put it out. Like, people don't understand.
Like my limitations when I was putting out game videos, to where I just had the limitation of what the PlayStation offered. Like, I didn't have the setup like you have.
You had to do it in 15 minutes.
You have to do it in 15
like, you
minute
work
increments.
with what you got until you can make it better.
Yes, exactly.
That's why, like, you could watch Jay and Mark number 00, and then watch Jay and Mark number 39, which was the last one, the most recent one we did, which is like a while ago, and they're drastically different. Drastically, like, in
the quality,
video quality, sound quality, like, you can just see that, like, it just got harder and harder, but better and better. Like,
it does.
It's fucking
the flow got better.
And like, maybe it's probably not the greatest content on YouTube or whatever, but like, it's a hell of a lot better than it was.
It most definitely. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, we've had people tell us that we should have more subscribers on YouTube, and it's like, but it's hard to get out there because even if you market all the time, like I market on Twitter, I'm on Instagram now, I'm on everything. Like, we're on Facebook, and it's just like, if that one person doesn't hear you or shout you out right now, it's like, it's such a grind to get to that point. Like, we've been at probably the grind to just 100 subscribers.
Yeah, that was our
milestone.
First real goal.
Yeah, that was our first real goal, and now it's 500 subscribers. I think there's another milestone of 500 or 250 or something that happens.
I don't know.
Because I know YouTube unlocks more stuff for you to do and makes it a little bit easier as you go through.
Well, I know there's like a whole page on the dashboard on YouTube for like your account stuff. Okay. For people who own channels, where it shows you what's been enabled.
Yeah.
And what still you're not at that point that you can enable. There's only like 2 things we can't do.
I think 500 is the one where you just have like a direct link to where you don't have to do www.youtube/mattarchermedia.com. You could just do Matt Archer Media.
Well, no, that's we already got that.
We already got that? Okay.
That's at 100.
I thought that was at 500.
We are youtube.com/mattarchermedia now.
Okay.
Which thank fucking God, because that is so much easier to put out there.
Yes.
That you can just tell somebody that and they can remember it.
You could just give the whole instead
like,
of giving them individual videos.
All you have to do is remember Matt Archer Media. You don't have to remember youtube.com. Just put Matt Archer Media after youtube.com/.
Yep. I need to upgrade my
anybody who knows anything
Twitter
about computers knows that, really.
Yeah, I need to upgrade my Twitter to that.
But I said fuck Twitter a long time ago.
I'm still grinding on Twitter.
To me, it's just a less capable Facebook for celebrities. For people with a following. That's really the only... It's a way for you to communicate with celebrities is what it is. And you can do less than you can on Facebook. That's why I don't understand why it's...
It's better. Well, from what I heard, it's failing. Like you were saying, you don't understand how people think it's better. But like from what I heard, Twitter's kind of failing at this point. Like it's because
fuck out of here, Lenore.
Facebook keeps adding all these things and making it easier to get to people and show people. Like Twitter, if I retweet something right now, I could retweet this podcast right now.
Oh, Twitter spreads like fucking wildfire.
And it's gone. It's gone in there. It just gets like, I can go on there 2 seconds later, I'll just refresh the page and there's a million more tweets on top of mine. Mm-hmm. And that's just who I'm following. That's not even who the Twitterverse is. Like, could you imagine if like when Twitter resets itself? Like, imagine the guy that, like, it's obviously not a guy pressing a button, but we'll use a guy for now. The Twitterverse is a guy that sits there and presses the button every split second.
Yeah.
Every time he does it, a billion more people upload it. So my post, a split second later, just got buried by a billion people.
Yeah, no. You refresh the page 2 seconds after you post something, and your post is a million miles away. It's gone.
Yeah.
Same thing with... And that all depends on how many people you follow and shit.
Yeah,
if
and
you're only following 4 people, chances are you're going to see the same post for the whole week.
Yeah, you're going to see your post.
Depending on how many
my
times those
post,
people
I think I follow like 700 people, and I'm up to like 570 now. Now that I'm actually thinking about changing it from Hayward Gaming to Hayward Wrestling, because my Twitter has just become wrestling.
Really?
Like, I literally just tweet about wrestling now.
Well,
like,
see,
because
I thought about making multiple pages, or not pages, but YouTube channels, ones that just do. Like, I thought about just making a Jam Up channel and then just making a Jay and Mark channel, but then I was like, no, then that kills like the whole brand idea of things. Because like I'm trying to have us all like under one umbrella. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like almost like we're a production company putting out different shows. You know, we're a network.
Yeah.
Putting out different shows.
Yeah,
Just like Fox putting out Family Guy and American Dad, and also, you know, like
it's whatever's
that
popular.
70s show and like whatever shows they got out at the time.
And that's what
YouTube's
all about.
Fox shows, like,
yeah, and that's what YouTube's all about. It's like putting out what works, because if I kept putting out the same crap and people weren't watching it, and I keep throwing that down their throats, one of two things are going to happen. Either the people are going to come in and be like, stop, just fucking stop, and they're all going to leave, or they're going to be like, damn, I like this now. Like when I watch wrestling, when I watch a wrestler, I'm like, the New Day sucks when they first started.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah, at first I didn't like New Day.
And then they did something. They found their platform, and they were the same characters, but they found what worked.
Well, the weird thing with me about New Day is when I came in and started watching wrestling again, Royal Rumble 2016, AJ Styles debut.
Okay.
In WWE.
I remember AJ Styles debut in WWE.
That was the first thing I watched again, because everybody was talking about it. I was like, well, Royal Rumble's my favorite. Fuck yeah, I'll watch Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I still know at least a couple of the people out there. Once I saw AJ Styles, I was back in.
It was kind of like
I've liked him for years.
Yeah,
like
AJ Styles' return was kind of like when Kane came in, when Paul Bearer first brought Kane in.
Kind of,
and it was like huge explosion. Yeah, it had a whole new excitement.
I was meant to watch it.
It was like you were a little kid again.
It's like I was meant to watch that Royal Rumble. And because my dude was debuting, it's almost like we were both debuting.
Yeah,
like it's like we're both in WWE now. Anyway, my point is, fuck. What was my point?
We were talking about YouTube and the keeping it under an umbrella and the freshness of everything. I brought up the New Day.
Oh, New Day.
Yeah,
I started watching right around there. That was the point of that whole thing. But I didn't like New Day at first.
Yeah,
but they were already popular. Like they had gone from that not working, and people not liking them to it's fucking New Day. Everybody loves New Day.
Yeah,
so they were already at that
rocks.
point. But I didn't like New Day, even though everybody else did.
Because of the characters. It was like Kofi Kingston had never had anything, just like R-Truth. Like R-Truth, until he teamed up with Goldust.
The only person I knew was Kofi Kingston, and from what I remember, I wasn't a huge fan of Kofi Kingston.
And that's what I'm saying. Like neither of those.
And then
guys.
the other guys I didn't know, and to me they just seemed like silly fucking assholes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But after a while they grew. I realized they were funny, and
Yes.
like this is actually quite entertaining, and like they had to grow on me, is what I'm saying. Like New Day, I think just kind of has to grow on you. That's why it took a while for them to get over.
And that brings us back to our original point with the channel. Like you just kind of find, and that's what I was saying. One of two things are going to happen. We're going to keep shoving things down people's throats, and it's finally going to click, or people are going to come on there and going to be like, "You guys suck," which is fine because I like constructive criticism. You can come out here and tell me I suck all day.
Oh, there's still people to this day that hate AJ Styles, and I don't get it. I'm like, what do you mean? He's bringing it back. He's making it worth watching again.
Yeah.
Well, that's all storyline, but I'm saying like there's still people to this day that are like, fuck AJ Styles. Like they just don't like him. And I don't get it. Like, what do you mean? He's one of the best wrestlers out there. He's making it worth watching, man. I got one. But
and it's just like you don't like John Cena. And it was weird to me because Alex was like, I'm a huge John Cena fan. And I'm like, really? I don't like John Cena.
I don't like him either.
And you don't like John Cena.
But
Alex is like, it's because I grew up with him. And I'm like, that makes sense because you grew up the 15, like, Alex is only like 21 years old. John Cena's been there for like 16 years.
Well, I'm pretty sure John Cena is the reason I stopped watching in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, because that motherfucker came around and I stopped watching.
Oh, yeah. John Cena was he's still a terrible character and he relates to the kids. But it's almost like John Cena for Alex was Stone Cold for us, or The Rock for us, or Mankind. Like,
yeah.
They don't. I guess they do have a lot,
see that.
but it's not.
Alex is much younger than us.
He is. He's
Alex
probably
is a whole
like,
other generation.
Yeah, And it's weird because it's like, and it's just like with anything in there, it's like the New Day. Like when I first seen them when they were heels, I was like, oh my God, this is because originally back probably in like 8th grade. So we're going back at least 20 years. So I'm 30 now. So we're going back pretty far. At that point, when I, like how you said, when you first came back to wrestling, and that's why I brought up the Kane thing to where when Kane first came in, because I thought WWE was done. I thought WWF had sold out to WCW. Everybody went to, because that's all my dad started watching was WCW. So in my kid mind,
for a while there, WCW was killing.
WCW was killing them, and WWF was gone to me. And then I got into a school where people liked, because I would transfer schools and stuff. People liked wrestling like me, and they were like, "Did you see last night on WWF Stone Cold cut a promo on whoever?" And it was like, WWF still exists. Yeah. And so the first episode I came into was when Paul Bearer came out and brought Kane out, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is crazy! Like, who is this guy?"
Yeah.
And you're like, and it's just that excitement. Like, it got me right back in. I didn't want to watch WCW anymore. I was like, I want to watch this now because that was always my favorite brand.
See, I was never big on WCW. I mean, I like WCW, but really the only reason I would watch WCW over WWF was because of like Macho Man was there. And like eventually Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were over there. That was really the only reasons, and that's when it started becoming good to watch. Really, like when the Outsiders came over, or when they became the Outsiders, basically.
When they first came, because I actually just watched a couple. I think they call that's the beginning of the Monday Night Wars.
Exactly. They that was actually like the storyline. The WCW, without WCW doing that, we probably wouldn't have had the Attitude Era.
No, we wouldn't have.
Like, at all. Like, thank God the fucking clique broke up. Because wrestling would have never blew up like it did.
No. And it's funny you say that because
wrestling might have died.
I actually watched a video recently that said if Triple H lost his push, which caused Stone Cold to win the King of the Ring.
King of the Ring, yep.
Which caused the Attitude Era, which caused the demise of WCW. If Triple H would have never hugged Kevin Nash, we might have had Triple H win the King of the Ring. And then at that point, he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, which was the worst character, the British snob, and he was like the real come out like.
Well, he was Connecticut.
Is that what it was?
What it was is he actually created that character in WCW.
Oh, okay. See, at that point, I wasn't watching WCW.
But he was different. It was the same, essentially the same character. He had the same mannerisms and the same idea.
I hated him.
But he was French.
Okay. So
when he came to WWF, I don't remember what he was called in WCW.
I'm not sure.
But he was French, and it was basically the same guy. He didn't do a lot of talking, I don't think. But when he came to WWF, they were like, "We like that. You should do that, but you're going to be Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and you're going to be like a Connecticut blue blood." Like, he was a rich guy from Connecticut.
Okay. I remember the blue blood. I don't remember him being from Connecticut.
But he was American, and he was just kind of like a Connecticut rich asshole. Like, I'm better than everyone. Like,
that makes me hate his old character even worse.
But, and then I forget where the transition happened, but, like, he eventually became something different. Because I could remember back in the day, I saw Triple H as that character live at the Civic Center.
Okay.
Back when Viscera was still King Mabel. And they were a tag team, and they carried him out. I don't know how the fuck they carried that dude on that throne. But like I watched,
oh my God!
Razor Ramon and 1-2-3 Kid essentially break up after that tag match.
Yeah, because it was 1-2-3 Kid stayed in WWF at the time or whatever it was at the time.
He was 1-2-3. He was Lightning Kid, I think.
Yeah,
and he eventually became 1-2-3 Kid. But he was tag team partners with Razor Ramon, and they were like after the match they were like poking each other in the chest and getting mad and like. I don't know if they actually broke up, but they were very unhappy with each other and shit. And my point is Triple H, Bret Hart was there. I touched Bret Hart's fucking arm. I was in the front row, dude. Like, I bought the Bret Hart glasses and shit.
That's awesome.
And
that's awesome.
But I forget what my point was there. Oh, Triple H was there, and he was the Connecticut blue blood. He came out, he had the frilly shirt on. And
yep, he did
when
the bow.
When he did the pedigree, he did it all, like, elegantly and, stretched his arms out and looked around like an asshole. He did sell the fuck out of
the pedigree back then.
But once Shawn Michaels blew up and then DX started hit, the original DX was just him and Shawn,
Oh, I loved it.
That's when it all changed. For Triple H anyway.
Yeah. And I guess that's what would have been different. Because the whole original point was if that would have never happened, the Attitude Era would have never beat out WCW. So I guess maybe that's what would have happened. Triple H would have he would have won the King of the Ring, and then he would have maybe, because I'm saying if the split still happened and the Attitude Era was still going to where it was supposed to be, because that was still going to happen. Like, that was set in stone. Razor Ramon and Kevin Nash were leaving, but
they wanted the money.
What if instead of hugging, Triple H was like, and he just like spit on the floor and kept that kayfabe and then walked out of the ring. Like, he kept that Canadian blue blood, and then he wins the King of the Ring, and then Shawn Michaels blows up and they become DX, and they're the ones that save wrestling. Does it still happen that way, or was the NWO better than DX? I guess at that point,
I don't know.
Was the NWO better than DX?
It's debatable on who was better at certain times, because at sometimes, dude, WCW was killing like Raw and SmackDown in the like WWE in the ratings. Like, they were killing them. There was a point where either one was doing better than the other. Like, and it was up and down.
I think it was because it depicted it through the game.
But there was a fucking time period there where WCW was killing WWF.
Yes, and that was when NWO first got announced, I think.
Yeah, and like once they converted Hulk over to a bad guy, that really, a lot of people wanted to see that shit go down.
Oh yeah.
Then Sting's transition into what he was.
When he went from like the surfer to the
crow, basically, that WCW
really,
was
and
killing.
He didn't really even do anything. He just stood there with a baseball bat and stalked you. But his look and his demeanor fucking made you like, this guy is insane. He's gonna be like, sweet now.
It was the combination of the Monday Night Wars and what they were doing to beat one another that made that Attitude Era of wrestling what it was. What made wrestling become $1 billion industry instead of $1 million industry that was failing.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of factors. It wasn't WCW doing this or WWF doing this. It was both of them competing against each other that made it what it was. They were trying to outdo each other.
Most definitely.
Like, to the point where they didn't care that it wasn't PG. They were just they knew who their audience was, and they were going after those fucking the like 18 to 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
Is who was watching wrestling back then and who was buying all the product.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why they were able to do all that racy stuff.
Little kids don't have fucking jobs.
No.
Little kids aren't buying merchandise. The parents are buying them for the little kids. But if you can make it appealing to both of them, you're going to make double the fucking money.
Yep.
Because it's something they can do together. They're going to enjoy doing things together.
And it's a family. It gets into the family-oriented thing to where now you relate to more than just the basement dwellers. You relate. It's a family-oriented thing now.
That's what it was. Like, that was a time where a little kid could watch something that was like PG-13.
Yeah.
And it would be okay. Like, you didn't have people fucking bitching and complaining about everything. Like,
because somebody said ass on TV.
Yeah. Like, fucking what's-her-name's titties were exposed at, like, Armageddon 99
I think that was Miss Kitty.
Yeah.
With
she did it herself.
Yeah.
Fucking Sergeant Slaughter had to come in and cover up with the towel. I remember.
Classic.
Like, that was one of the greatest fucking times ever for a WWE pay-per-view back then. Like, that was awesome. And it wasn't supposed to happen, but nothing happened. She got fired, I think.
I think that's what got her fired.
But, like, it only helped the company. Like, why are they so fucking scared? Why is everybody bitching and complaining about everything anymore? That's why everything sucks. Dude. That's why wrestling is nowhere near what it was. Because they started trying to appeal to that younger audience, dude. That's why a lot of people left. That's why I left. That's why John Cena blew up.
Yep.
And he started out as a heel, and I always forget about that. John Cena.
Yeah, Word Life. He started out as like a rapper,
and nobody liked him.
No.
And he acted. He was heel.
Yep, he was very heel. He was like that. He was arrogant. He was kind of, to me, he was the kid version of the Attitude Era, almost like real. He just was real gimmicky. He was real story. And now characters aren't so much gimmicky. Like, characters have like personality now. Like, Eric Young is gimmicky, but then you see AJ Styles and he has character and personality. He's not a gimmick. John Cena was a gimmick turned into an even bigger gimmick. That's like he's almost like, to me, John Cena is the only thing left of the Attitude Era. Maybe that's why we don't like him, because he never
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, yeah, I guess the after
me,
Attitude Era,
John
he was
Cena
like,
has nothing to like. He was the end of the Attitude.
yeah,
Era.
the end of the Attitude Era, starting the new before it started getting to where it's at now.
Well, not only that, it didn't help that everybody in the Attitude Era were fucking megastars.
Yeah.
The Rock was leaving and doing movies and shit.
The Rock, Mankind, there was
Stone Cold was
Stone
having all
Cold
kinds
Steve
of
Austin.
controversial, like that shit with Deborah.
Yep.
And like Mankind was falling apart.
Oh yeah, Undertaker.
Scott Hall was drinking himself to death.
There was
Kevin Nash is starring in movies.
I'm pretty sure
and shit.
Lex Luger was like a cokehead
Well,
or
not
something.
starring, but he's in movies.
Yeah, like Lex Luger was taking steroids, and I'm pretty sure he was doing drugs.
Fucking,
There was Mr. Perfect, I heard, was on drugs.
a lot of them were, man.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Drugs
drugs was
Guerrero fucking died. Chris Benoit, I mean, it was
the death counter.
It was a
is
bad
crazy.
time for
Yeah.
wrestling right there at the end of the Attitude Era. Like it's just like a band blowing up and them losing it all because they got addicted to this.
And then John
or
Cena
everything
coming in
fell
was
apart.
like, forget about all that stuff. Here goes something family, wholesome, oriented.
To WWE, John Cena was probably the fucking light at the end of the tunnel, right?
The
there.
poster boy.
Well, just like he brought him back, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Like they were losing that spark. They were losing all the people, or all the wrestlers and shit. They were going down, and John Cena stopped that from happening.
He became like the
But
new
it
age
made
Hulk
the
Hogan.
product something else.
Yeah, it definitely did.
They had to go in a different direction because of John Cena.
I play a lot of like online games and stuff, and all these online games have microtransactions, and he's like the real life version of a microtransaction. Because there was a meme one time I seen, it was like, you may be conceited, but you'll never be conceited as John Cena wearing a John Cena t-shirt with a flag and a bandana,
No, I saw
and
that.
a wristband and stuff. And that's to me, that's a real life, like what a microtransaction is when you buy something in game. If the game's free, you bought something in the game. It's the same thing with TV. Like you're paying your monthly subscription for the network.
Yeah.
Now you're buying John Cena's t-shirt, you're buying Roman Reigns' t-shirt, and that's what John Cena is. He's just a marketing gimmick. Like he's just out there to be like that flag holding,
No,
like, relate to the kids.
That's why he's in all the fucking commercials.
Yep. And that's why
he's
like
at all the promotions.
that's
he's
why, like,
basically
NXT so
the
much.
spokesperson.
Yeah, oh
You're
yeah.
right. He's the face of the company.
But he's not. Like he is. He's like
That's
Roman
what
Reigns. Like they
pisses
just
me
want
off
him to be the
so
face of the company.
Much about him though.
Yeah.
Is he comes in after being gone for 4 months and acts like he hasn't been gone for 4 months.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not a part timer.
By the way, I get a fucking title shot now, and I'm not a part timer. I'm here to stay." And then he's gone again for like another 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Like he's just comes out there, lies to your face,
Right. He's like, "I've been here the whole time fighting."
and is cocky as fuck about it, and then pieces out
Yep. To do whatever.
to do everything he just said he's not gonna do.
Total Divas, fucking movies,
Yeah.
TV shows.
He comes back to
Axe commercials.
Comes back, has a dumb fucking feud with Miz, which the best part about that feud was the Miz.
The Miz, yeah. The whole feud.
That made absolutely no fucking sense until the end when it was all just a setup for him to propose to Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
I was like, that is fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
And the fact that he was with Nikki Bella after cheating on his original wife.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't even, like, that's
Well,
something
that
you want to
was-
promote in your company?
He did that with Mickey James, though, didn't he?
Did he cheat?
I think that was Mickey James cheated.
Oh, he cheated with Mickey James and then he got with Nikki Bella. Something. I think he cheated on Mickey James. I think he cheated on his wife with Mickey James and then cheated on Mickey James with Nikki Bella.
Maybe.
I think that's
I
what
don't know.
happened.
I know Mickey James and
But, like,
Nikki Bella.
Bray Wyatt lost his push because he's sleeping with the JoJo.
Which
John Cena becomes the
JoJo's
biggest thing,
fine, though.
the
JoJo's
biggest thing
really
in the
good looking.
history because he slept with Mickey James. Like, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like The Undertaker, like The Undertaker's a prime example. But
Fucking
The Undertaker put his
Xavier
work
Woods
in back then.
had a fucking sex tape with Paige, somebody who left the company for a lot of controversial reasons.
Yep.
And that motherfucker just won the SmackDown tag titles like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't lose a thing, but
Nope.
he's also Xavier fucking Woods.
Yeah.
Not only is he a fucking WWE superstar, but he's also an internet fucking star.
Yeah, he's an internet sensation.
Like, he hosted, like, you've heard of, like, Kind of Funny and, like, Kind of Funny
Yeah.
Games. He hosted Kind of Funny Live 3,
Oh, wow.
the live event that they do every year.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. Like,
The fucking Rock,
Kofi's everywhere now.
The Rock and Sasha Banks both appeared in video. Like, they sent videos to them and they played it on the screen of The Rock, like, and they're talking to the people and like they know like The Rock and Sasha Banks. Well, they know The Rock through social media.
Well, yeah, The Rock's everywhere now
because like because the Kind of Funny guys, they all came from IGN and then started their own internet thing called Kind of Funny.
Yeah,
but so I think they've had some back and forth with The Rock for quite some time now, but. The one guy that they just hired, Cool Greg, who's the younger brother of one of the guys, fucking loves Sasha Banks. So they had Sasha Banks. I would assume Xavier Woods, since they're friends with him, had Sasha Banks film a video, basically saying hi to him and shit, and like congratulations on getting the job with Kind of Funny because they just announced him being the new member of the crew and shit because everybody loves that dude, I guess. But so I do not know where I was going with this either, but. Xavier Woods is basically a fucking star in his own right. He wouldn't even need WWE at this point.
If they dropped him, he would just go become...
He would be fine. He could wrestle the indies and make good money, or he could just continue to do his fucking YouTube
his internet
channel.
stuff. He could do his YouTube channel. He could host the Nickelodeon Awards. He would probably be picked up as a host on like some kind of TV show like the America's Funniest Videos.
Like he's a personality now.
Yeah, he's a personality now.
Now that he's made it as far as he has, you can't take that away from him. He's got the connections. He knows people now.
Yep.
Like he has friends, and he has a following. Once you have that, as long as you don't become a total piece of fucking shit, you're pretty much golden. It's like Kevin Smith. The reason Kevin Smith still has a career is because he still has an audience.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like he can make a movie for $5 million, which is chump change these days. When you're making Avengers movies for $800 million and then making $2 billion off
fucking
them.
Insane.
Yeah, dude.
The CGI right now is out of this world. How much it cost?
But he has 30 million people who love him and is totally willing to see the things he puts out.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, think about that, dude.
Because he's a personality. He's not just a director anymore.
You make a movie for $5 million, and 30 million people go see it. $10. Maybe $5 or $6, depending on matinees and shit. Times 30 million. I don't care who you are. That's good money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's why Kevin Smith still has a career, because he still has an audience and he makes money. His movies make money.
Yep.
They cost $5 million to make. They make $30-40 million.
Which is crazy, because that's what his whole career's been. He's made those. I don't want to say low budget movies because they're not really low. But $5 million is low budget in Hollywood.
Basically, independent movies.
Independent movies,
even though their studio films, they're being put out by Miramax is a smaller studio, but they're basically big time. Put out through like Miramax or Universal, or like Mallrats was Universal or whatever. You know what I mean? Fuck. But at the same time, all they're doing is giving him the money and promoting it and distributing it. He's got his whole way of doing things.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like with his last few movies, they're all independently funded. He either puts his own money into it or he gets an investor. They throw in a few $1,000,000, like $5 million, whatever. He makes the movie himself for $5 million, and then he takes it to this film festival, or he takes it to this film festival, and he shows it. People bid on it, and then he basically sells it to a distributor, and they distribute it. They put it out in theaters, or like with Yoga Hosers, he actually toured the country and just showed it to people.
Okay.
And then had an auction for it. I think like people who wanted it made offers, and who whatever offer he liked the most, which is fucking smart.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Like that's the way to do it.
Oh yeah.
But
that's marketing. That's how you got to do it.
Even when they are backed by like major studios and shit, it's still made independently because he has that free. He's not asking for $100 million to make a movie. He's asking for $5 from somebody that is actually just an independent investor. Like, no matter what, he's going to make his money back because he has those 30 million people that love him and are going to watch his stuff and have heard about him talk about it on the podcast for the past 2 years, and are even more like he's basically independently promoting everything he does by doing podcasts every week.
Yeah,
by talking about it.
And it's like he makes movies that are good. Like Yoga Hosers was good. And
Yoga
it's
Hosers was silly as fuck.
It was silly as fuck, but it wasn't. It's
good if you go in knowing what you're about to watch.
It didn't look like me and you walking around with a camera.
No. Oh, it was well made.
And
yeah.
what it is he's spending that $5 or $6 million because he's not getting actors that cost $100 million to make the movie a piece.
Well,
like,
I mean, you could say that, but Yoga Hosers and Tusk are still the first movies he's ever made that had fucking Johnny Depp as a fucking star of the movie.
True. Johnny Depp, he is a huge star. Like,
but like, I mean, I'm sure. Johnny Depp's the kind of guy that does stuff because he wants to, not because he doesn't need the money. You know what I mean?
No.
He may now that he just got a divorce settlement where he gave away $7 million. But I'm still thinking he's probably fine. He could sell a couple houses and be right back where he was. But yeah, you're right though. Like he works with a lot of friends, or like a lot of the fucking guy he's always wanted to work with is Michael Parks, and he just died a few months ago.
Okay.
But he was the main guy in Tusk, the weird guy who wanted to turn Justin Long into a walrus. I don't know if you ever saw Tusk. But
I haven't seen Tusk yet.
I love that movie, and it gets hated on so much, and it's crazy and unbelievable, but it's a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, and it's fucking, like, it's really weird, but I love it. Like, that's why I like it, because it's so fucked up. Not only that, but I'm the guy who listens to the podcast and was waiting for it to come out and shit, you know what I mean? But Michael Parks is who he wanted to work with his whole career, and he's been in like a lot of Tarantino movies and stuff. He's been around forever. One of those guys that is a fucking just phenom of an actor, like, but never got the recognition he deserved. Like,
okay.
So fucking good, and but he gets people like that, people he wants to work with, like. Who doesn't want to have Johnny Depp in their movie? Once you know who Michael Parks is and see him in Red State. Have you saw Red State?
Yeah, I've seen Red State.
He was the preacher.
Okay.
How fucking good was he as Aiden Cooper, the preacher?
He was amazing.
So good.
I loved Red State.
Oh, Red State's probably Kevin Smith's best film ever made. I'm close. I mean, I still love the original. Like, Mallrats is silly and it did terribly, but I love Mallrats. I love Dogma.
I love Dogma. I don't think I've ever seen Mallrats.
Dogma gets a lot of weird hate. I don't know why people don't like Dogma, but
That's
Dogma,
weird.
To me, up until like Red State and like a lot of his more weirder, more like art film types, like shit he just wants to do for himself. Dogma was probably his best movie he ever made up until that point. I love Chasing Amy too, but that gets a lot of hate too.
I don't think I've ever seen Chasing Amy either, because Chasing Amy came before, because it was Jersey Girl, then it was
Clerks.
Was Clerks his first one?
Yeah, Jersey Girl was way later.
Okay, see, I thought Jersey Girl was his first one.
Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Jersey Girl.
So Jersey Girl was the one with Ben Affleck then?
Yes. And
so maybe I'm thinking...
George Carlin. Ben Affleck was married to Jennifer Lopez. They had a kid, and then she died giving birth or whatever. And then it's kind of a drama.
So I'm thinking
comedy.
of Mallrats then.
Mallrats is... basically, the whole fucking movie takes place in a mall. They're trying to stop the game show. In the end, Jason Lee and Jeremy London are on the game show.
I don't think I've ever seen Mallrats then.
Ooh, Mallrats is a good one. Mallrats is like his second movie.
Okay.
First big studio movie, and that's what...
Because I've heard a lot about it.
I've heard it was good. Because it's not as good as Clerks. It's a cult classic. It's beloved for specific reasons, you know. But it didn't do well in theaters at all, and the critics fucking hated it, especially after Clerks was so well received. But
Clerks was really good.
I love Mallrats. Clerks is great. Clerks 2 is great.
Clerks 2 is great.
Sucks.
Aren't they doing a third one?
They were going to, but he doesn't own Clerks. So if Miramax doesn't want to make it, he can't make it.
Is that why he talks about like the Miramax fucks in the movie all the time? Like, and some.
Well,
of his
he's
movies,
always done that because he's
making...
friends with them. But but Clerks 2 did so well. I don't know why they don't want to do.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't want to do it.
Well, I know that there was a lot of money issues. Like they didn't get paid for probably like 8 or 10 years till after Clerks 2 came out. The guy who plays Randall, said fuck Clerks, like would not do Clerks 3 for the longest time. Because he hadn't got paid for Clerks 2 yet. And this was like years later, dude. Just recently there was actually a settlement and they all just got paid for it.
Why?
And that's when he started talking about, I don't remember why.
Okay. They just dipped on their money then.
But it's the way Kevin Smith talks about it, it's nothing out of the ordinary. People in the movie industry sue each other all the fucking time, and it's no big deal. No hard feelings. Like, he's still friends with fucking Bob Weinstein, the head of Miramax and shit.
That's weird.
He said during Kevin Smith finally decided to sue over it, and he said that after that happened, a couple weeks later, either Harvey or Bob Weinstein, he always does the impression too, and because he talks like this, like he's like, "Hey Kevin, you want to see the new Tarantino movie?" Like he talks like a total like Jewish. I don't even know if he's Jewish. It's Weinstein, so I'm assuming.
Yeah,
but like Jewish, almost like he's from New York or something. Like, hey, but which sounded more Italian than anything. But I'm terrible at this. But he said Bob Weinstein called him up one day after the lawsuit had already been put in motion and everything, and said, "Hey Kevin, I just wanted to let you know I got a check on my desk right now for $10 million for you." And I don't remember what was said after that, but he didn't. And he was just like, "Do you really?" He's like, "No, not at all," or something like that. I don't know. He just called him. To rub it in his face, like, hey, like, amazing. No, like, I'm just fucking with you, bro. Right? No, we'll get this figured out in court, like.
So I wonder if that's almost like, I don't know, like, because I guess you're an independent contractor if you're a actor, aren't you? Because you go in to do an audition, they hire you on. It would have to be, unless you're with a company, like unless you're with Sony or something, where you have contracts and stuff.
On the agreement, because like some people, like I know for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Carrie Fisher was in the movie.
Okay,
played the Harry Bush nun.
Did she? That was Carrie Fisher.
That was Carrie Fisher. Yeah. Huh. He said they worked out a deal with her that she didn't want to be paid for the movie. She said, "I'll tell you what, I'll do the movie." Because there was only like one scene in the movie. Just buy me this rocking chair I want. So, and it's like this old, like, it was like a handmade, like really expensive, like really nice, like well-known branded rocking chair.
Yeah, something she obviously could have bought herself.
So, like, it really all depends. Like, you can negotiate whatever. Like, some people will negotiate, like an executive producer credit in there, and they'll take a pay cut. So then that almost adds to their IMDb page or like a resume of things like, I'm an executive producer on this, which basically means like you could basically pay and become an executive producer if you really wanted to. Like an executive producer, in a way, some executive producers do a lot more than others, but you could be an executive producer just by contributing something. They'll just give you an executive producer credit because you helped fund the movie.
Okay, so you put some money into it, yeah.
Anything. Like, it's kind of a broad term from the way I understand. I'm sure there's a more legit version of it, but...
So, like, you could be an executive producer because you contributed to something and they just gave you that credit for it. It's not really specifically like a job.
Or, like, you get a piece of, merchandising. Or, you know what I mean? Or, like, depending on if the movie does well, maybe you get, like, a piece of the end cap, I don't know. I've never been in there, but
I know Tom Hanks
it's all negotiable. Like, it all depends. And then there is like a system where they call it what's the word? Scale, which is basically the movie business term for minimum wage. If you're getting paid scale, you're getting paid the absolute minimum of what you can get paid as an actor. Like, if you're working for scale, you're either a fucking extra or a no-name.
Yeah, or they're just being a dick to you.
Yeah, like the people who are getting Adam Sandler making $40 million a picture.
He's giving you like
that's all negotiated.
$100,000. Yeah, like he just made $40 million on a movie that made $80 million, and you made $300.
Yep, and he's making $40 million no matter what.
Yeah, like even if the movie does $5 million,
he's already got the $40 million. Like, it's said and done. You're in the movie because you're getting paid $40 million. Like, that's why some of your movies suck, but yet great actors are in it. Yeah, because they're like, 40 million fucking... You're willing to give me everything I want? Why wouldn't I do this?
I know Tom Hanks got royalties off, like, Forrest Gump. So, like, he makes a percentage off everything. He was like, all right, I'll take the money you want to give me now, the little bit of money you want to give me now.
Every time it's played on, like, HBO. And
every time it's played.
He'll get checked. There's people that have been in one fucking classic movie and they'll get paid for that movie till the day they die because Gone with the Wind gets played 4 times a year on this channel.
Yeah.
Or like fucking like there's people's children's grandchildren are still making money off shit their grandpa made in 1932 or something. Like Clark Gable's kids are still making fucking money. Or kids. Like
could you imagine? Insane. Like, could you imagine if somebody came to you and was like, "Mark, you're owed royalties of this thing"? Like,
I bet you,
millions.
Lisa Marie Presley will never have a reason to ever work just because of what her father did.
Yep.
She will she could never work a day in her life. Her kids probably will never need to do another fucking thing because their grandfather was Elvis.
They'll be set up for life.
Like that's all it takes, man.
And that's what's crazy about it. It's like you get to that point, and it's like your grandfather worked that hard, and then like you're still living off those royalties.
Yep.
Like we'll use Clint Eastwood as an example. He's been in there for so long, and like he's probably got so many royalties off different movies and different deals that he's struck over the years that like his, like you were saying, his children's children, decades from now, it's going to get to the point to where if they stop producing, it's going to be lost in like a vault somewhere with like just a number that just exceeds any other number because it's just a name, but it's still there. Like someone's going to profit off that money, obviously. But like if it just built up, it would be like an exceeding thing. Like it would just go. It goes somewhere. Like somebody's always going to get something off of that.
Yep.
Like Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday is copywritten. Technically, us singing the song Happy Birthday, you have to pay.
They're actually...
It's a loose copyright, but it's like technically that every time that's played in like a venue or something, they can go on there and be like, "Oh, you played that on YouTube. I'm suing you right now, or I'm shutting your video down, or." You played that in a movie. I'm getting paid for that now.
It's like the fucking who was it? What were their names? The Feinstein brothers.
You talking about recently where they tried to
copy the
copyright
the word react.
Yeah.
Like you can't copyright a single word.
No, you can't.
Do it. You can copyright a phrase.
Like Happy Birthday was the song.
Copyright a combination of words.
Yeah.
But you can't copyright a word. That's like copywriting my name. Now I have to change my fucking name because my name is Mark and you copyrighted the word Mark.
Yeah, you made a monopoly on that word Mark.
Not only that, but Mark is an actual word. Like you can make a mark on a paper or there's a mark on my wall, like a marker.
Yep.
Like you just can't do that. That's
why made up
like
names,
a basic human right. Words belong to everyone.
Yeah, and that's why made up names are like Sharpie would be a copywritten thing. Like you can't use the word Sharpie because they made that up themselves. It's an original word. It's a Sharpie marker, but I can use marker all day. I can call this a marker and I can put marker on it, but as soon as I put Sharpie, it becomes a copywritten thing.
Yeah.
Even if it just says Sharpie or Sharpie marker. Like I don't know if the copywritten is Sharpie marker or just Sharpie.
That's like you just kept saying Sharpie and I kept thinking Sharpay.
I was about to, but for some reason your thoughts were projecting on me. I wanted to say Sharpay.
That's like trademarking or copywriting a breed of a dog, like a Sharpay.
Yep.
Like now, like you can't do that.
No,
you can't do that.
There's too many of it.
Like that would be like what if somebody copywrote corn dog? Could nobody else call corn dogs anymore?
Unless they paid for the rights, it would have to be called a breaded dog, and then you wouldn't understand what that was.
Or like a breaded hot dog.
Or a breaded hot dog.
What if somebody was like, oh well, if they can do corn dog, I'll do hot dog.
Yeah.
Well, then hot dog. Breaded meat stick. Well, I'm gonna fucking copyright meat stick.
Yep.
Like.
It just never ends at that point.
Eventually,
it was the Fine Brothers.
Fine
Brothers,
yeah. I don't know why I said Feinstein. I assume everyone's Jewish. Any greedy person's Jewish.
And anybody in the media industry is Jewish.
I'm just kidding. I'm not.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not saying Jewish that for people. Real.
But it's a fucking podcast. We're having fun.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, words belong to the people. Like
they do.
Like you can copyright if you smell what the Rock is cooking, but you can't copyright cooking.
And that's why like they're loose copyrights. Like we could talk, I can sit here and say Mickey Mouse and the Rock is the Rock and stuff like that. But then if I started putting that on paper, it gets to the point if you're profiting off of it.
Well, it's also like that's like you ever saw the movie Room 237?
It sounds familiar.
It was a documentary about the movie The Shining. and all the different. It showed you all the crazy things that Stanley Kubrick did in that movie, and then it had a bunch of people basically describing and explaining theories, that the main theories about that movie and what he was trying to say with that movie, because that movie, Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining, is drastically different than the actual story of The Shining.
I heard about that.
He changed a lot of stuff that made no fucking sense to change, like down to the color of the car they're driving.
The VW Bug. And I actually heard in the movie...
In the movie later, you see a VW Bug that is the right color that was just fucking destroyed in a car accident. On the road. And that was like a fuck you. Saying like, yeah, I destroyed your fucking story. Like, this is my story. This is not your story.
Which is crazy.
Fuck your story.
And they just changed little things in there.
Why, though? Like, people don't just do that.
Right.
Like, he's sitting there carefully arranging Calumet cans in the back just for being in the background, like making sure the labels are facing a certain way and shit, which if you think about it, like the Calumet cans, in a way, they have an Indian on it smoking a peace pipe, but yet the whole hotel they're in has an Indian theme to it, and like they're just putting all these things together. Like, why is he doing this? Why did he change this? Why is the kid wearing an Apollo 11 t-shirt, you know, when he's playing with his toys on the floor
that have like the labyrinth or whatever that he's playing, and it was like the maze when he brought his cars up and stuff like that.
The theory behind all that is that Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing footage. That's one of the theories they go into in this movie. But if the evidence they provide is really fucking intriguing, like there's stuff that you're just like, well, that is weird. Why would that happen? And that is very symbolic of some shit. But what they're saying is at one point in this movie, there's multiple references they refer to in the movie that have to do with.
I think I've seen this documentary you're talking about.
But
a lot of it sounds
was
familiar.
on Netflix for a while.
Okay,
I heard about it before it even came out, and I was just waiting. And when I found out it was out to stream or download or something, I found it.
Okay.
It eventually came to Netflix. But what they're saying is the kid in the movie was playing with his cars and toys and stuff on the carpet in a hallway in the hotel, and he's wearing a sweater that has it's like a NASA sweater, but it's like all stitched, and it's got a fucking rocket ship, like a space shuttle on it, and it says Apollo 11. The specific mission that went to the moon, and that they're saying he faked the landings for, and the pattern in the carpet has all those like almost like stop sign shapes in them and stuff, which is like the exact same shape of the launch pads and stuff.
Okay, that's what it was.
These things. He has all these cars and stuff, fucking arranged around these patterns, just like cars would be arranged around the launch pads.
Yeah.
Something to do with the amount of cars there. Forget what it was.
I can't remember. I know what you're talking about,
But then a ball rolls into frame, and that makes it the perfect amount of objects right there to go along with something. I can't remember what it was. We'll have to talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
But
a little bit of research on it.
Kid,
go back and watch the movie.
Once the ball comes, the ball seemingly comes from nowhere, a ghost or something. And the kid reacts to it, and he gets up, and that's when you notice he's wearing an Apollo 11 t-shirt, which is supposed to represent the launching of the Apollo 11 mission going to the moon. He then walks down the hall to room 237, which in the book, the room he walks to is a completely different number. He specifically changed the room to 237. You eventually get to the room. He zooms in on the key in the door, and it says room number, but N-O dot, not number or hashtag.
Just the N-O,
N-O dot 237, which if you change the words around in number and room, it will spell the words room, moon room, which is the room they referred to for the the room they're saying is the room they would refer to as where they shot the footage for the Apollo
filming
movie.
of it. Yeah,
so that's kind of just like speculation.
Yeah,
there's no real proof for that,
like
but I thought that is kind of weird that it would spell moon room. But he changed it to the number to 237, and he shows you all of this. Like they zoom in on the key and everything for the door. At the time, it was widely known that the moon is known to be 237,000 miles from the Earth. That was the number, right? So this is supposed to represent the launching of the Apollo 11 space shuttle, going to room 237. So it's supposed to be like the launching of the space shuttle going 237,000 miles to the moon. The room that is, if you change the word, spells moon room. So that's supposed to represent the launching of the shuttle to the moon room. So that's supposed to represent the Apollo 11 mission.
Okay.
But not going into space, it's going into the moon room, which is basically, that's supposed to be his confession.
Like the film was going in there.
That he was trying to tell you, like, we didn't go to the moon, we went to a fucking soundstage and filmed this shit. Which is weird.
Yeah.
Why did he change it? Why that number? There's other things involved.
Well, yeah.
That, like, I am very much paraphrasing all the information they give you in this, like, but it's all very interesting. Like, even the other theories they have, like, it's all a fucking, like symbolism for, like, the genocide of the Indians and shit, too. That's why there's so many Indian things, and that's why he's manipulating cans that have the logo of an Indian smoking a peace pipe and shit, and, like, the way the guy looked that was talking to him and the way the American flag, like, all these things are like, okay, all right. But, like, some of the things are just like, that is interesting. Like, why would he do that? Like, why? Why did he change this? Why did he change? Like, it's crazy. Because, like, have you ever saw the TV version of The Shining with the guy from Wings?
No.
Can't remember most things he's in, but you saw the guy, you know what I'm talking about. But it's so fucking different. Like, it actually follows the story from the book, and it's drastically different.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I heard the moon landing, they filmed it in Hollywood. Like, they finally admitted they filmed it in Hollywood because the footage got corrupted on the moon.
Well,
somehow, like, whatever they filmed didn't make it from the moon back to Earth.
Well, it's widely known at this point that a lot of images and stuff that they said were from spacewalks and stuff back then weren't at all.
No, they weren't.
They were fucking tests on Earth, and they just blacked out the space around them to make it look like they were in space. Like, it is proven. You can see the actual image next to the fucking, I guess, early version of Photoshopped image before Photoshop was invented, and you can see
like
the difference. Like, even Joe Rogan's gone into it. Like, he's gone all through it. He's like, so it's not crazy to think that they faked that shit.
No, it's not.
Like,
because there's a whole documentary about it.
Not only that, it was all happening during a space race. We needed to be the first one to get there, and fucking Russia was kicking our ass.
Yeah, and it's what is it? It's rumored that Russia was actually there first, and when we got up there and planted the flag, we actually took the Russian flag out and planted ours, or like just filmed in a different area, but there was already a Russian flag apparently on it, and that's like what the dark side of the moon was, where Russia went.
They say that they found dead astronauts there when they got there. Like, they're saying, you know, the dark side of the moon?
Yeah.
They say that there's stuff on that other side of the moon that we don't even know is there because we never see that fucking side of the moon.
Yeah, we don't see it.
They're saying there's like cities over there and shit, and there's footage on the internet where it's supposedly mission footage from landing on the moon. You see a fucking spaceship on the other side of them, like a crashed spaceship. They supposedly find a dead fucking alien woman on there, and you see it.
Wow.
It looks fucked up and weird and fake.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're thinking, this is space.
Yeah.
It's been dead in space for like ever. And all of this stuff is really fucking convincing. This thing is like humanoid looking. It almost looks like Egyptian. It looks like a mummified body, kind of. Like when you see mummies of like people from Egypt
like
and shit, where like a lot of them still intact, but you're just seeing like bones come through. And
yeah,
they look
out.
fake, but you know they're real. That's what this thing looks like. I mean, it looks... The creature itself is debatable.
Yeah.
Very debatable. But all the other footage seems really fucking legit.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
This is supposedly Russian cosmonauts, not fucking American people, going over there and doing this. Dude, there's a lot of claims that there's a lot of shit that Russia did that we just don't know about. Things that were
Same
really,
with the
they
Nazis.
did a lot of really fucked up, they fucked people up. Like they did some really fucked up things when it came to their space program.
Well, there's a recording of a woman, and like she's speaking in Russian, but she's like screaming, and it's like she's in a shuttle. Like you can hear that she's in a shuttle, and you hear it sounds like she's saying help, and it's like dying or burning or something, like the translation of it or whatever.
I've heard about this.
Okay. Yeah, it's like it's something, and she ends up, it just like the audio cuts off, like it ends up just dying out, like, but they're assuming that it was a failed Russian space mission that she just burnt up.
No, dude, I
coming back to
Joe
Earth.
Rogan talked about this.
That might have been what it was. I might have heard it on Joe Rogan.
They actually played the audio.
Okay, that might have been what it is.
The girl screaming, and they were like, this seems very real.
Yeah.
I'll have to look more up about that.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. Like that could have been one of those, like you were saying, like one of those experiments, because Russia could have got, and like if you think about it now, why would NASA shut down our space program and work with Russia's space program?
Well, they didn't necessarily shut us down, but they defunded us a lot.
Yeah.
They took like billions away from NASA, which a lot of people would argue that it's not important, but it really is.
It is.
It really is.
Because imagine if Russia populated the moon, like say the moon or Mars, or we found out another planet was habitable, and they put it with their people, and then a whole army came back, a planet of Russians came back and took over the planet. Now they have two planets. Now we're Russians, maybe we're Soviets now, because obviously the person that would be doing isn't like a regular person in his right mind that's going to go populate an entire planet with his own race. It's going to be like a new coming of Hitler.
Well, not only that, dude, there's no doubt in the majority of the masses' minds now that there's life out there.
Yeah, there has to be.
To me, I have and I've said this so many times, just the fact that I exist was proof enough that fucking something else exists out there. Why would I be here and nothing else?
Yeah.
Like, what is so goddamn special about us and Earth? Like,
and the fact
it's proven. We know there are planets out there that are close enough to stars that there could be things just like us. Not only that, but we've come to an understanding now that planets don't have to be just like Earth in order to have life.
Yeah.
The only reason we are the way we are is because our evolution happened in this atmosphere.
Yes.
Something else could have evolved and adapted in there's creatures here that are living in conditions that should not be habitable at all.
No.
Which proves right there
bottom of the ocean
that life on any planet can exist.
Yep.
Like there could be fucking creatures that can live in a fucking dense, harsh and fucking environment like Venus. For all we know, there's like I watched a documentary back in like high school that was all about like all the different moons and places in our own solar system, and they basically took you throughout to like every planet and what it would be like there.
Okay.
According to what we know at that time, and this was like early 2000s, like early mid 2000s. It was actually narrated by the John Lithgow, the guy from Third Rock from the Sun, the main alien dad guy. Anyway.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But I was so fascinated by the moon Titan from Saturn because they said it was so fucking Earth-like, but yet the atmosphere is made of carbon, or no, what is it? The atmosphere there's like methane lakes or something, or nitrogen lakes, and the atmosphere's like a weird. So basically, we would be able to like fly and shit. Whales and shit would be like flying in the air and whatnot. The way they described it, it was like, but the atmosphere is flammable. So if I lit a cigarette on that planet, the whole fucking atmosphere would go up.
And you'd all be dead.
Exactly.
So there's no like actual.
But now the way they describe Titan, it's very different. Like it's more of a harsh environment. But I don't know. There's different ideas of what Titan's like and shit. But they talked about Venus at one point. And if this is when I first found out that like, oh, so life could exist in more harsher environments, because they were exploring that in this documentary. And they talked about Venus, how there could be creatures, and they kind of created one digitally, like, and it was basically almost like a living balloon.
Okay.
Where it takes in the atmosphere and it kind of just floats around, but like it's this whole species of like balloon type creatures,
like a jellyfish, but floating through the air.
Yeah, like an air jellyfish,
something from Skyrim, like those big, like Morrowind,
and that totally
those big like leech things that are flying around in space. And
the wisps.
Yeah, the wisps.
Yeah, those are like more like magical fairy type deals, I think.
Okay,
but like they're just kind of like. I don't even. They're just like light balls almost. These are more like jellyfish,
like a jellyfish.
But like there was just like one thing coming out. It literally looked like a fucking balloon with a string coming out of it. But it was like living and green, and you could see it like breathing.
So that'd be crazy to be able to see stuff like that.
Well, that's the first time it changed my whole perception on what like just space and the universe in general. Like it's the options are fucking limitless. We have no fucking idea. We only know what we know when we think that's fucking. Fact, but it may be fact for us, but it's not fact for this other world. Just like time, the only reason days are 24 hours and stuff like that is because of where we are in the solar system and how long it takes for us to spin around. And the only reason a year is 365 days is because that's how fucking long it takes for us to get around the sun and shit.
Yeah, there's other planets that the day
different for
is 365.
It's different for Mercury.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Their years are shorter. Their days are shorter. Their fucking Jupiter, their years are longer because it takes longer to go around, and I don't know how. Well, their years are longer. I don't know how long it takes for it to spin.
I know it's not a 24-hour cycle. I think like a lot of other planets have like a 72-hour cycle. Some other planets have like days on end cycle because it's how long it takes, and those are probably the ones that take like thousands of years to get around the sun. The ones that are further out.
The shit that's gonna take us like 2 generations just to get there.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Technology we have. Like,
yes. And like I just seen a video recently that was like it's bullshit that apparently NASA's getting sued by scientists because NASA claims there's no life, and he's able to sue them because
NASA's getting sued by a scientist because
they
NASA's
used to work there because
there's no life.
The scientists are saying that there's no life outside of planet Earth. There's no biological life. There's no biological life forms.
Okay.
And they're showing like the corrosion on the rover or whatever it's called, the thing that drives around and takes pictures and stuff.
On Mars.
There's bacterial corrosion inside the wheels,
which shows that there is life.
For bacteria is life.
Yeah.
That's organic. Just because it's not intelligent life, it's not like me and you talking right now on Mars.
He's suing because they're basically lying and withholding information.
Yep.
They're saying no, this isn't the case when they know it is the case.
Yep,
and he's
because
like,
it's all over. He said it's all over. There's pictures of it all being all over, and this is public pictures. You can go on there right now and look at the rover. Well, it's not ice shards. There's like corrosion. There's decay.
Well, you look
for
at
stuff
Mars,
like that to happen.
and
Something has to be eating away at it.
There was without. There has to be like really fucking strong winds for it to happen without there being some kind of water for there to be erosion. Yeah. And usually where there's water, there's some sort of life.
Exactly.
The thing that baffles me is we've known forever, since we've been able to look through a telescope, that it has fucking ice caps. So why the fuck did it take them so long to figure out, oh, there's water on Mars? There's ice caps.
Yeah.
Like... Yeah, maybe it's not H2O. Maybe it's some other.
Yeah, it's not like the water here.
But what? But I think they're saying that it is now.
There's water in like the universe itself. Like there's a giant like.
Well, yeah,
the size of our Milky Way. It's just a splash of water up there, and that's all it is. It's not a planet or anything. It's not attached to anything.
Because it didn't just come from nowhere. Like there were these particles. Like, if you get back to the Big Bang and shit, like, it's all made up of gas and dust and shit. Like, we're all just made up of star dust, in a way. Like,
yeah, and that's another thing. If we're all made up of stardust...
It all just accumulates in this area and condenses down and becomes water or earth and, the hydrogen gas. And, like, it all becomes... Like, that's all that color and shit you see in space. Like, that's all gases and dust and shit. And gravity pulls it all together. And condenses it down.
Yep, and that's just what we see in ours.
That's what condensation is.
The further it goes out, it's almost like from what we can see, they call it a torus, but it's just an interconnection of everything. Like a DNA almost.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
our universe could just be made up of DNA of another universe, and all these universes connected, and we're eventually you get out to the point where we're just a person.
Well, I actually read an article yesterday. I didn't finish it because it was a fucking really long article, but they were talking about scientists discovered that our brain is actually an 11-dimensional, actually has 11 dimensions to it. And there's an 11-dimensional like universe going on in our brain.
Okay.
So then that's in dumb guy terms. That's what I got from what it was saying. I saved the article because I wanted to read it more and get more into it. But it reminded me of that episode of Rick and Morty where Rick had a battery or something that was powered by an alternate universe that he created. And he actually went in there and then found out that there was a scientist in that parallel world inside this battery that did the same thing. And it made him start contemplating, seeing what he did with this world in this battery that he made in this battery world that he made.
Yeah.
Seeing how the guy he created doing, this is really confusing.
Yeah.
Rick seeing the scientist in the parallel world doing the same thing really put things into perspective for Rick. Because he was just like, fuck, if he's doing this, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what I'm doing is kind of I was just using these people. Like, that's what's great about Rick and Morty, dude, is they take this shit and then they put it, they do it in a way that, like, you're just like, wow, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Like, he takes all these real, like, scientific theories and shit, Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland or whatever, and they fucking make it really, kind of like Futurama used to do. They took all these crazy ideas and just went with it.
Yep.
But Rick and Morty's just more, like, blatant about it.
Yeah. More like out of the normal things.
Futurama did it in a more, like, Archie storytelling sort of way. They're doing it in, like, this is what the whole show focuses around.
Like something like he turned himself into a pickle recently. Like
I haven't saw that one yet, but I've only saw the first 2 episodes.
Okay,
of this
yeah.
Ever since I found out that they basically put it out for free and you can watch it online, I'm like, fuck yeah. So I'm kind of just waiting for them all to come out. But that's a show that, like, eventually, like, I'll probably buy the, like, first 3 season box set and then buy the 4, 5, and 6 box set after that. Like, I'm the kind of guy that wants to wait and buy Game of Thrones all at the same time in one big box set that has, like, a commemorative,
just has everything.
hour and a half long documentary all about the show.
It's fucking shit. Game of Thrones. It's like 75 hours of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's like $190.
Jon Snow is narrating the entire thing.
It comes with a fucking Jon Snow fucking a direwolf statue.
comes with a real dragon egg, $395.
You get a fucking Khaleesi fleshlight. All right, well, sir, I think we're going to have to call it an episode because we've been doing this for over 2.5 hours.
Nice. That was a good episode, sir.
I might have to split it up.
You might have to, yeah.
I might say, fuck it.
Well, we did. There was a point to where we did get to, like, a different subject to where we could almost be split
we were
into.
all over the goddamn
place. Yeah, we were all over the place. But I'm saying, like, there was a distinctive
point. We went from
point.
one subject to another subject and then back to that other subject again.
Well, that was the parallel universe in the subject that we were in. There was another guy actually talking about the same thing we were talking about inside this episode.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
There's a Rick and Morty episode right there for you, ladies and gentlemen. With that said, don't know what to tell you this was yet, but I'll let you know as soon as I know.
Yep, same here.
If you know anything about me at this point, which is Mark. I'm Mark. This is Jesse, in case you didn't get that if you're a newcomer. When there's no video involved, it's really hard to distinguish what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
So maybe next one I'll probably shoot up or set up the camera and shoot
Not
it.
shoot up, but shoot the video.
No, I'm not going to shoot up. Trust me, if I was, you'd want the camera up for that one. But, yeah, next time I'll do it. It might not be, like, wonderful and great, like all, you know.
It's going to be something.
It's a work in progress.
I might be blowing them 30 minutes into the video just to get views, but hell,
we're going to have to make a Pornhub account.
Yeah, this might not get uploaded to YouTube. This might get uploaded to Pornhub. But the first video we make.
Yeah. But, yeah. Thanks for listening. If you got to this point, thanks for getting this far. If you skipped all the way here and you're hearing this now,
what the fuck, man?
Yeah, since this is the audio, it'll probably be a download thing, or he might upload it to YouTube. So
Like I said,
download.
I'm trying to get the syndication going, so it'll be all over the place.
But download it, subscribe, make sure you follow us on all our shit. Like,
YouTube.com/MattArcherMedia, Facebook.com/MattArcherMedia.
I got some stuff on Twitter, Hayward. On Instagram's Hayward.
Yep, Instagram is Matt Archer Media as well, at Matt Archer
Yep,
Media.
Matt Archer Media. I mean, you can go in. Mark's got a Western. I think you got a Western Jesus Twitter too. Do you still use that, or is that your?
That's
personal?
like my personal one,
personal
kind of. But like
Twitter?
I said,
Okay.
I don't really. I kind of said fuck Twitter.
True. You did
But
say
I
fuck
mean, I get
Twitter.
on there from time to time, especially because I'm sick of seeing all those numbers.
Yeah,
on the
I just
fucking
use it
app.
because it's like another outlet for media.
But I got to piss, so I'm gonna wrap this up.
All right. Yeah.
Until next time.
Peace.
Later.
Self-confidence getting thin, stressed out, futures came.